the staff. He's a solid presence and is undoubtedly one of the best starting pitchers in baseball. Despite being overshadowed by big names like Halladay and Lee, his quiet efficiency makes the Phillies staff one of the most formidable in baseball history. Today, he takes on a Pirates team that is coming off one of their best seasons in years and looks to make an impact in the NL Central this season. Six days into spring training games for the Phillies fans, and yes, they are settling in here in Clearwater, Florida. It's the first time this year that the fans will get a chance to see the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's a near-capacity crowd here at Bright House Field. It's game number 6 of the spring, the Pirates and the Phillies. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. We are one time through the rotation. That means the guy that began spring training, Cole Hamels, will make his second start, and Rich Doobie is hoping that the second outing is as good as the first.
Well, Cole Hamels is a tough pitcher right now at this point in his career, Tom. One of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Probably could be a number 1 for most teams. Here's one of his really good outings last year. He pitches against the Atlanta Braves a lot. It seems like he's added that cut fastball in the last couple seasons. Best changeup maybe in the National League. Guy can field his position. He can hit. He can do everything. Cole Hamels just a tremendous pitcher. There's that changeup right there for a strikeout. What a season he had last year. Cole coming off, probably could even won more games than that because they didn't score a whole lot of runs for him. Look at his hits per innings pitched, how good they are. His walks and strikeouts, he held his home run total way down until near the end of the season when he started to throw a few home runs. So like many pitchers, he's just trying to get ready right now, and he talked about what spring training means to him.
Spring training's more laid back and easy, and everybody's just trying to get ready. And I think that's just kind of where, when people finally feel ready, can't wait for the season to start. And then it's just kind of letting the grind, go as far as you can go, and then seeing what you can do in the postseason. But, it's all of our goals is to get to the postseason and win the World Series.
I know about you, Tom. I'll never get tired of hearing them talking about winning a World Series.
Well, for the Pirates, who are the team that are in town today, they just want to get to the 500 mark under Clint Hurdle.
Well, they were better last year. Through their first 100 games last season, they were over the 500 mark, playing great baseball. They ran into a brutal series down in Atlanta, then came in and got swept by the Phillies. They have a very exciting young player in Andrew McCutchen. Now, one of the things they haven't been able to do is lock up their young talent. Well, they just did that with this guy. He can do everything. He's a center fielder. He has power. He can run. He can throw. He's just a tremendous player. And look what they did when I said they locked him up. That's an understatement. A 6-year deal. Now, they thought they had picked up a number 1 pitcher in A.J. Burnett, and he probably will be. Unfortunately, he hurt himself the other day in a bunting drill, bunted a ball right back into his face, broke the orbital bone under his eye, and he's going to be out for a couple of months. So we were sure it was going to be Roy Halladay against A.J. Burnett on opening day. Well, I talked to Clint Hurdle before the game, and he says he doesn't know who his opening day starter is right now.
Well, we do know who will start this afternoon for both the Phillies and the Pirates. It'll be Cole Hamels on the mound for the Phillies. He'll be opposed by right-hander James McDonald, who also is making his second start of spring training. All right, how do you get ready for a spring training game? Well, you grab your glove, maybe do some rolls down the hill, maybe run away from Mom. We'll see if Mom is able to catch this youngster when we get back. The lineups and the first pitch for the Pirates and the Phils in just a moment. Oh, it's a glorious day here in Clearwater, Florida, as the Phillies get set to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates at Bright House Field. Back-to-back home games before the Phillies hit the road tomorrow and then back here this weekend. Fans are settling in. They said there were some tickets available at the start of today's ball game, but this place looks like it is jam-packed under bright blue skies and beautiful sunshine. George Pappas with today's national anthem.
Mr. George Pappas.
Well, I'm not an expert in the violin, but it sounded like he had more than one violin going there for today's national anthem. George Pappas with his rendition in front of this capacity crowd. And the Phillies have taken the field behind Cole Hamels. The umpires have exchanged the lineup cards. There's Dominic Brown, who injured his right thumb the other day in that ball game here at Bright House Field. And Dominic will not play today, and he's going to have an MRI just to make sure that everything is okay with that thumb. We thought he went down on the turf rather awkward, but the hope is that he is going to be just fine in the next couple of days. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Pittsburgh Pirates, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off in left field, Alex Presley. Josh Harrison, the shortstop, at second. Casey McGee over from the Brewers. He'll be at third base today, hitting third. Rod Barajas, the former Phil, is doing the catching. Matt Haig is the first baseman. Nate McLeod, the center fielder. Gorkis Hernandez, the right fielder, will bat seventh. Chase Darno is at second base. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth at pitching. That's right, no DH today for Clint Hurdle's team. James McDonald will be on the mound, and we'll see if he gets a chance to hit against Phillies left-hander Cole Hamels.
Coming off a tremendous season last year and a good outing his first time out. 2 innings, 3 hits against the Yankees. No runs. He did walk a batter. But last season, you know, Hamels, he's had a lot of good seasons in the major leagues. But last year was about, well, you know, he's an MVP of the World Series and the League Championship Series. But last year, from start to finish, he was really good. There's our scouting report on him, and very solid 2011 season.
And obviously there's been a lot of talk about Cole Hamels being in the final year of his contract, and the hope is that he will remain in the red pinstripes for the majority of his career. Well, here we go. Phillies lost yesterday to the Astros. They want to play just a better ball game overall today against the Pirates. Alex Presley will lead it off for Pittsburgh. He is scheduled to be their everyday left fielder, and he's had a good start to the spring. 5 for 9. And 3 runs batted in the first pitch of the day. It's a fastball that tails inside, so we're underway. Presley last year hit .333 with 8 home runs and 41 runs batted in AAA. He also had a .388 on base percentage in AAA. Now I think the Pirates would like to hit Andrew McCutchen third, but every time they try to do that, they run out of options in the leadoff spot, so he winds up batting leadoff a little bit. I'm sure that they're in search of a guy that can lead off, and they could put McCutchen in the middle of that lineup.
Yeah, they really, Tabata can do it a little bit. You know, he's got some leadoff tools, but he's another guy who's been hurt a lot over the years.
And he is scheduled to be in right field this year. The 2-1 pitch. Hit toward the left side, right past the diving Placido Polanco. And the leadoff batter's aboard for the Pirates.
Cole falls behind the leadoff batter, Alex Presley, and it looked like he threw a little cutter there, tried to get it away from him. And more than anything, that's a nice piece of hitting by a left-handed hitter, because that's a pitch right there you easily could just roll over.
So Presley's aboard. Here's Josh Harrison. Harrison's playing shortstop today, but he has been a utility guy for most of his career. 3 games so far, 3 hits.
and he takes low.
Clint Barnes is going to be their everyday shortstop, they hope. He's a guy, talking to Clint Hurdle, their manager, before the game. He had him in Colorado when Barnes was really good, and then he got hurt too. So, you know, he likes Barnes a lot, and he wants to go with him as a shortstop over Cedeno, who was with them last year.
There goes the runner. Hamels hasn't picked. If Mayberry can get the ball out of his glove, and he couldn't, that means that Presley is safe at second. John did everything right. He just couldn't get the ball out of his glove, and that cost him a few seconds.
Yeah, Presley's running on the play, as Tom said, so, you know, you're picked off. You might as well just keep on going at that point and make him throw you out. Try and stay on the baseline a little bit and make it a harder throw. You can't tell from that angle exactly where he was, but the key to it was, as you said, Tom, he couldn't get the ball out of his glove.
Tell you what, Presley looked like he slid right past the bag and got his foot on it, but Jimmy held the tag.
Now, see, when you're picked off by this much, you want to. It's a really good job. See, he ran right in the line, and you know, in a way they sometimes will try and cheat a little bit out of the line to make it a harder throw for the first baseman.
So Presley's in scoring position. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike to Harrison. Presley and Harrison are 26 and 24 years old, so I guess you can say the Pirates are constantly rebuilding, but they're hoping that the rebuilding time is just about over. Good changeup. That one floated right over the heart of the plate, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, they went and locked a player, McCutcheon, into a long-term deal, and that has not been their MO. They have not been able to keep their players. He's perfect for this situation right now, is Clint Hurdle. He's very patient. He's very positive.
Yeah, he said the other day that last year, as that liner is caught by Jimmy Rollins, Clint Hurdle said last year a lot of time was spent on belief. And he said, you know what? We made progress. Now we need to finish. Pitch, at bat, inning, game, season. We just need to finish.
10th major league season as a manager, most of it with Colorado. Well, last year, after the first 100 games, they were 53 and 47, and then they lost 43 of their last 62.
That's not good.
No, they just, a lot of things happened. But that series in Atlanta blew them out right before they came into Philadelphia and got swept. Those long games down there, and
there goes the runner. Schneider's throw right in the base path. A beautiful play by Polanco, and a great release by Schneider. 2 outs here in the first.
Yeah, as you said, Tom, a good job by Brian Schneider. Real quick release with a right-handed hitter. He got away from him, behind him, and had a clear line of sight then, and right on the bag, slide right into it, nowhere to go.
Can't have a better throw than that.
No, and that's one of the reasons why you go in feet first. Is a little tougher tag for an infielder because they don't want that glove down there like that.
And by the way, the pitch was a strike.
Pitch was a strike. When they see the guy coming in, all they got to do is look at the hand. They see those spikes coming in. Sometimes they can miss a tag because they get a little antsy. But, you know, guys want to slide head first all the time.
Well, 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Casey McGee, and he waves to the changeup. McGee's going to have his work cut out for him to be the everyday third baseman for the Pirates, because Pedro Alvarez is most likely their everyday third baseman.
Well, they want him to be.
Swing and a miss, and back-to-back changeups for Hamels. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left, and a strikeout for Cole. We go to the bottom of the first and scoreless game. Well, that little guy's got his spring training look down. He's got the sunglasses on, the golf shirt ready to go. And let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it up at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Placido Polanco back in the lineup over at third, followed by Shane Victorino and Jim Thome. Hunter Pence is in right field. He'll bat fifth. Ty Wigginton sixth. And the bottom third of Mayberry, Nix, and Brian Schneider. And they'll face 27-year-old right hitter James McDonald, who former 11th round pick of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
One outing so far this year, and you see what he's done with that. They had very good starting pitching through the first 100 games last year. Everything seemed to go right, and McDonald was one of the guys who was pitching very well, and then they all kind of went into a tailspin. The key to beat this guy is to hope he gets wild. That's what the Phillies did in the game in Pittsburgh last year. Here's a scouting report. You see, very, very good fastball. Likes to throw his curveball. It's kind of a reclamation project in that he's been with a bunch of different organizations. Tom mentioned the Dodgers starting out. But he can be so good, and then all of a sudden he can't throw it in the ocean.
Well, here's Jimmy Rollins to face him to start things off, and Rollins bunts on the first opportunity, and it spun around a little bit around the home plate area, but it just didn't get far enough away from Rod Barajas. And one away here in the bottom of the first.
Well, they continue to try to do that. Some of the guys that can run a little bit, and that's what Charlie and the coaching staff are encouraging them to do.
I'll tell you, watching Jimmy do that the other day and in front of Sam Perlazzo, he was deadening one after another up the third base line. Mike Schmidt used to want to bunt every once in a while.
He used to. The thing he used to love to do as much as anything, hit a ground ball to right field, play hit and run. They drive everybody crazy because Michael Pop wanted hit it in the alley, hit it out. But Schmidt would get bored. He was so good, he would try to do different things, and he loved to hit a ground ball in the hole to right field with a man on first.
The ball got a piece of Placido Polanco, the front of his jersey.
Talked about James McDonald can get a little bit wild, and he just runs that fastball in, and thankfully, hit jersey, didn't hit Polanco, because the last thing you need is for him to get banged up some way.
He'll get hit in that same elbow that he had surgery on a year ago. So base runner for Shane Victorino, 2 for 10 so far this spring. And if you've missed the games and haven't had a chance to watch Shane in his at-bats, after each game he'll tweet and say what he's done for the game, just so his fans know. First pitch is inside and low. It's 1-0.
Well, right now you'd like him to tweet that he hit a ball, he pulled a ball with a man on first in that hole, inviting.
Well, he certainly does have that hole.
Oh my. And McDonald's best pitch is a curveball, and he may just throw one up there, and that's a pitch you can pull into the hole.
Comes back with a fastball, and it's 1-1 strike. Victorino last year 17 home runs, 27 doubles, 16 triples, 19 stolen bases, the quadruple double. And you see he was spraying his hits around, but most of his hits are to right field, as you would expect. In the dirt, Barajas blocked that curveball, and it's 2-1. Rod Barajas over from the Dodgers, and he will be the everyday catcher, at least to start the season for the Pirates. They got a pretty good prospect down in the farm system, Tony Sanchez, who is here with the club today. The count to Victorino.
Well, Phillies are going to play these guys a lot down here, and of course at home, and then open the season with them. So Rod Barajas is going to hit some homers.
They held him in check last year, though.
A little bit, yeah. Finally.
Well, he had one hit last year.
He has homered off them though, over the years.
One is chopped toward first. What a play by Haig. He has only one play. He wanted to make sure that the ball was in his glove. And there are 2 outs as Polanco moves into scoring position.
It was a tremendous play, but that's exactly what you want Shane Victorino to do here. Pull the ball. You know, the 9 times out of 10, this thing's in the hole, especially as hard as he hit that. And just a tremendous play by Haig, the first baseman, or you'd have a first and third. But a very good at bat by Shane Victorino and doing just what you want to see him try to do there.
Haig is manning first today. Garrett Jones most likely will be the everyday first baseman, although Haig is going to have a chance.
He could have a positive tweet on his first at bat.
That's right.
I did what I should do there.
Here's Jim Thome. And Jim cracks it up the first base line, just foul. Charlie Manuel said yesterday that Thome, who's 2 for 7 this spring, is the DH, will probably begin playing first base in games, minor league games, next week. Charlie also said that Thome continues to work with Sam Perlazzo on taking ground balls, and he was out there again today. He had the chair, but he also got out of the chair to take ground balls on his feet. Well, he just missed that one. Fly ball down the left field line. Presley is there, and he had trouble finding it, but it found his glove, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, 1 man left in scoring position. We've completed our first inning here at Bright House Field. Friday, April 13th, the Phillies and the Mets will get together for the first time at Citizens Bank Park. First game is a night game, 7:05. Day number 2 will feature Turkey Hill Kids Opening Day and a free Charlie Manuel commemorative baseball for fans 14 and under. Sunday is a tribute to Jackie Robinson. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets today. Top of the second, here's Rod Barajas, who spent the last 2 years in the Dodgers organization. Wheels mentioned his success against the Phillies. Well, they figured something out last year because he was 1 for 14 against the Phils. However, before that, he was a .300 hitter
with a lot of homers.
Yeah. Didn't have the same success when he was in a Phillies uniform several years ago.
Well, still think that was a good move to get Rod Barajas in that offseason, but it didn't work out.
Sometimes that happens.
It happens. Because everywhere he's gone since then, he's done the job that they thought they would get out of him. But when he didn't block the plate that day and that night in Florida, that was pretty much the end of his time in Philadelphia.
Soft ground ball. Rollins has time, throws out Rod Barajas. Well, Phillies will open up in Pittsburgh this year. They've got a lot of problems so far against the Pirates since that ballpark opened. For more on that, let's turn it over to Greg Murphy.
Yeah, Tom, you're absolutely right. You know, you guys were talking about the Pirates' late season fall last year, but for whatever reason, they've had the Phillies number when the Phillies traveled to PNC. Take a look at the problems with PNC in the last 9 years, an overall record of just 11-18. They've won just one of those series in 9 years. But, Tom, as you mentioned, no time like the present to turn that thing around because, of course, the Phillies will start off this season in Pittsburgh. It all begins on April 5th for the Phils at PNC. Guys?
Yeah, the good news, Murph, is that last year they dropped 2 of 3 to the Pirates, but as Wheels mentioned before, they swept them at Citizens Bank Park. It is weird because that place out in Pittsburgh, there are always a lot of Phillies fans there.
And for whatever reason, they don't play well out there. Pirates do a really good job against them. And they, as Murph just mentioned, one winning season.
Well, Matt Haig just went after a changeup from Cole Hamels, and Hamels picked up his 2nd strikeout.
Well, he's got a really good changeup here this afternoon. Using his cutter and his fastball. I don't know if he's thrown a curveball yet, but his changeup's real good. Here it is again. Watch his dead fish.
And now Nate McLeod, who had his most success as a player when he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates during his first go-around, trying to make this team as an extra man. 3 for 6 so far this spring. It just didn't work out for Nate McLeod with the Atlanta Braves for one reason or another.
Right, Tom. He was a real disappointment for Atlanta. Had injury problems too, but even when he was healthy, it didn't work.
Last year he hit .228 with 4 home runs for the Braves. He hits that one in the air to center field. Victorino settles under it, looking through the sun, makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 second inning. Well, Cole Hamels is picked up right where he left off in his last outing here at Bright House. But he was around the Clearwater area just the other day. And don't forget, we'll celebrate his birthday on Sunday, April 29th at 1:35 against the Chicago Cubs. Part of a 4-game series. It wraps up with a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night on Monday, April 30th at 7:05. Fanatic is not here today, but was here for opening day.
Always here in spirit.
Always here in spirit. We go to the bottom of the second. Hunter Pence will lead it off. Pence 2 for 9 so far this spring. Both hits home runs. Coming off a year in which he had a career high .314 batting average. And he swings at the first pitch and hits it foul. And there was a fan by the Phillies dugout that made a heck of a one-handed play on that ground ball. He's looking for some affirmation from Charlie Manuel.
He's going to get a little bit now, I think. Nice play, son, but can you hit? That's what Charlie wants to know.
Oh. Pitch got away right there. That's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, this guy can be effectively wild, too, because when you move it all over the place like he does, I think that was a hook that slipped out of his hand, looked like. But his fastball is enough that he can make you nervous.
That ball is smoked through the hole on the left side, and Pence is aboard with his first hit other than a home run this spring. He took a huge turn around the bag.
Well, he hit that thing hard.
That was one of those for Casey McGee. You make an attempt, but you might want to try to get out of the way.
Yeah. Well, you hope it's to your left or right.
Now Ty Wigginton playing second base today for the first time this spring. We've seen Wigginton at third, at first, but now at second. Talked to him a little bit yesterday. Very happy to be here in Philadelphia. Happy to have a chance to win.
Yeah, he really is happy to be here.
How can you not, though, I guess?
He's a nice guy, and yeah, he played all over the place on a lot of teams that haven't been real good.
Played for the Mets when they weren't good the first time, then the Astros, the Orioles, the Rockies last year.
He's a versatile guy.
That ball's hit towards center field. Pretty well hit, and it's over the head of Nate McLaughlin going to the wall. Pence is going to wind up scoring easily. Wigginson's going to pull into second. It's an RBI double, and the Phillies are on the board first. That's a pretty good sign right there.
Yeah, hit that ball. Well, the wind's blowing out to left and left center again here today, same as yesterday. And that was a low liner that McLeod, but he didn't read it right away. It was a fastball. He didn't quite read it, and by the time he did, forget about it. It had shot over his head and off the wall and whatnot.
So Wigginton's in scoring position, his third hit of the spring. Last year when he hit 242, he had 38 extra base hits, including 21 doubles. Here's John Mayberry. Mayberry takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
I wonder if they want him to get him over right now or swing away. Now with Nix on deck, you know, they may want him to get him over.
I'll tell you, the other day in Dunedin, there's Lance Nix. He did just that. He tried to get the ball to the right side, and he hit a chopper to second, but he was destined to get it to the right side some way, whether it be into the gap for a base hit or maybe a single to right. And Troy Manuel slapped him on the back as he came to the dugout the other day because, you know, he was looking to go that way.
And when I say you wonder, there are certain situations where you don't want him to do it. And then there are other ones where you look at a guy and say, okay, give yourself up. And they'll tell him, too, you know, if he's in the on decks before he's walking up there, what they want him to do. And there's a sign for it also.
Well, now it's no balls and 2 strikes, and now they just want him to make some contact.
Yeah, now you're on your own.
And he sprays it the other way.
I mean, fans, when they watch a game at home or at the ballpark, you can tell when a guy's trying to give himself up early in the count. You can see him making an effort to hit it the other way. But then when you get 2 strikes, now, you know, now, as you say, you're just trying to stay alive.
He lays off a breaking ball. That looked like a slider, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mayberry's numbers last year with the count after no balls and 2 strikes. They've got a pickoff play on, and Wigginton gets back. Little daylight play. Josh Harrison just stuck his glove out as he went past Wigginton.
Yeah, that's normally a sign they'll use. The shortstop stick the glove out, the second baseman is bare hand, and then they go to the bag.
That ball is lined to left field and caught by Presley, and they're going to double up Ty Wigginton. Wigginton, I guess, just thought that ball was going to either go into the gap or drop in front of Presley. He didn't read it properly.
He sure didn't.
Yeah, that's a double play. 2 outs here in the second.
Especially with nobody on, with nobody out, and the wind's taking the ball to the outfielder. And in this case, it's hit right on the nose. And Wigginton, yeah, he took a look, and as far as he was concerned, that ball was going to be a hit. Of course, as he probably realized at a point as he got near third base and the crowd was groaning, he was in trouble.
Now Lance Nix, who nubs it foul. Nix played the entire day out in left field yesterday. He hasn't played a whole lot in the field because he's been battling a hamstring and a groin issue. But he played all 9 innings yesterday, and now the fact that he's starting today is a great sign that he is fully healthy. That ball will be out of play, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. The umpires for today's ball game: Chris Ward is behind the plate. Tom Hallion is currently over at first base. Marty Foster's at second, and Chris Siegel's at third. And that is indeed where they are right now.
Yeah. Need to get Hallion behind the plate some game. He's fun to watch.
Change up, and Nix is down on strikes. The side is retired, but the Phillies strike first. They get a run on the RBI double by Ty Wigginton. 2 in the books here in Clearwater. Hey, the Phillies will take on the Pittsburgh Pirates in an on-deck series at Citizens Bank Park beginning April 2nd at 7:05. It's a 2-game set. All fans will receive the IBEW Local 98 Jim Thome print for the first game. And then the second game, Expedex 2012 schedule magnet. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. 1-0 Phillies as we go to the top of the third. Cole Hamels has done very well so far through the first 2. He gets Hernandez to bunt that first pitch in the air, and John Mayberry makes the play. 1 out here in the third. Asked Rich Doobie today how long the Cole would go, and he said, we'll see. I said, well, it's longer than 2 innings. He goes, oh yeah, definitely longer than 2 innings. I think it all depends on what his pitch count is, and through the first 2 he was at 22 pitches.
Yeah, he could have another one of those days where he could breeze through 3 today, maybe, and then go throw some more in the pen the way he did against the Yankees the other day.
Chase Darno is the hitter, and the first pitch is outside. It's 1-0. I also asked Rich about the strike zone yesterday. Vance Worley and others were on the hill, and I said, did you say anything to the umpire? He said, no. He goes, it's only the 5th game of the spring. I'm not going to say anything yet.
Save it. Save it for when it means something. It was a little erratic yesterday. It contributed to the long afternoon.
Well, so far, so good for Hamels. You saw his breakdown of outs. Chase Darno, the former 4th-round pick of the Pirates back in 2008, 25 years old. His brother was a catching prospect in the Phillies organization and is now with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, he's a guy that certainly did not want to lose out of the organization, but he was in the Roy Halladay deal.
2 balls and 2 strikes the count to d'Arnaud. Ground ball toward third, just by Polanco. And a base hit, second one of the ball game for the Pirates.
The pitcher, number 53,
The ball was just too far to the left of Polanco. And now James McDonald, the pitcher, will hit. Did you ask Clint about that? If he's decided to just let them start hitting early?
That's exactly what it was. So, you know, that's basically the National League, the way you play it. And I guess he didn't have anybody he had to get some at bats for that he wanted to bring over here. So
here's Clint taking a look at his lineup card.
You know, he worries about bunting right now. That was an awful injury A.J. Burnett suffered the other day. Just had Ertl shaking his head like, well, we had a #1 guy ready to go, but what are you going to do? Managers are like that. They can't complain. I said, who's going to be your starting pitcher? And he says, well, now it's a toss-up.
There goes the runner. McDonald bunts that ball fair. It's a fair ball, and Schneider will make the play over to first, where Wigginton covers.
It's his opening day pitcher, and
right.
Against the Phillies, and he said it'll shake out.
I would think it's, well, I shouldn't say, I don't know, but Correa is the guy that you would think.
And he, the name he did say, and he says, I don't know, so there's nothing I can really give you, but he says he likes Karstens a little bit.
Okay. Well, now with the runner in scoring position and 2 outs here in the third, Alex Presley, who singled his first time up, will be the hitter.
Philly present down there too, with Nick Leyva coaching third base again. He's second year with Clint. Nick still makes his home in suburban Philadelphia. There he is. Said, how couldn't you win? How couldn't you win with the Phillies with those teams you had? He just laughed. He was a young manager at the time. He had a lot to learn, and he's a really good baseball man. He was a third base coach the year the Phillies lost to the Blue Jays.
He's trying to get Chase d'Arnaud to get a bigger lead off second right now.
All third base coaches pray for that, plead for their runners to do that, to help them.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Presley. Ball just missed off the outside corner. Looked like a cutter, and it's 2-1. Think about it. A year ago, Cole Hamels wasn't throwing the cutter, and he's just gotten so good at it.
Yeah, that pitch last year was so good for him.
Got it in the kitchen. That's a towering pop-up. Foul territory. John Mayberry is there, and he makes the catch. A step from the line. Pirates leave one over at second. Phillies lead it 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Quality Plus Ford stores. Oh, another picture-perfect day here in Clearwater, Florida. Temperature right now at 84 degrees. The Phillies on top 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the third. Brian Schneider will lead it off for the Phils. That area you just saw is the left field line here at Bright House Field. Takes you down toward the Tiki Bar. It's where the Phillies offices are located. You have a similar area down the right field line, but there are more seats that go down the right field line in the second deck here at Bright House Field. The one thing you can do is you can literally walk all the way around the ballpark on the concourse, and really, if you're close to the seating area, you won't miss a pitch. And you might catch a Brian Schneider foul ball.
There are a lot of fan-friendly amenities here.
I mean, it's wide open.
What a great place.
See the conditions today. 1-1 the count to Schneider. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Only about 83 again. Going to be in the 80s all week, which is really nice for the players and the fans.
Brian has caught one other game so far this spring. Eric Kratz has done some catching. Tuffy go switch. Carlos Ruiz has caught 1 game so far. I think Carlos is scheduled to catch tomorrow. I could be wrong about that. I know he's scheduled to catch at least once in the next couple of days. Might even be Saturday. They try to go easy on the catcher's legs during the first week, a couple of weeks of spring training. I asked Carlos the other day, I said, how are you after catching Dunedin? He said, well, swinging the bat was fine. He goes, my legs are a little tired after the game. Right side. And Darno will take care of Schneider. 1 out. And then we go back to the top of the order. Both starting pitchers have been pretty good so far in this ballgame.
Shortstop Jimmy Rollins.
Dave Bush is supposed to be second today, and he is throwing out there in the Phillies bullpen. Whether or not Cole would pitch another inning, he certainly hasn't there's Dave. Certainly has not overextended himself, has Hamels. He's been pretty much in command in this game. Fell behind the first hitter.
Thrown 35 pitches so far in the first 3 innings.
A lot of strikes. Fell behind Presley, and Presley did a nice job of hitting the ball in the hole to left field for a base hit.
2-0 the count to Jimmy Rollins. He tried to bunt his way on his first time up. Donald came in with a fastball, and Haig makes another good play. He's made 2 solid plays over at first. 3-1 on the putout. Monday, May 14th, the Phillies will welcome in the Houston Astros for a 2-game series. Game 1 is Teva Respiratory Asthma Awareness Night. A free Phillies Liberty Bell cap for all fans. And then Tuesday is the Citizens Bank Business Person Special. And then a Modell Sporting Goods Senior Stroll the Bases for fans 55 and over. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com.
Yeah, I know. I saw you. I used to do that stuff too to my colleagues.
Yeah.
And it goes fast.
Polanco swings at the first pitch. Nice hop for Harrison. And this is going to turn out to be a 1-2-3 inning for James McDonald. We've completed 3 here at Bright House Field, and the Phils hanging on to the lead. prior to the ball game. There's Dave Cash and Dick Allen, who are scheduled to throw out the first pitch. There's Dave Cash's first pitch to Mike Schmidt. Dick Allen celebrating his 70th birthday today. Dave Cash played for both the Pirates and the Phillies, and he's with Greg Murphy. Murph, take it away.
That's right, T-Mac. Won the World Series with the Pirates in 1971, was a 3-time All-Star with the Phillies. So I'm not going to ask you who you're rooting for today. That would be unfair. But you got a chance to throw out the first pitch and see a couple of old friends as well.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It was kind of ironical, just to have Pittsburgh and Philadelphia here playing the day. And, it's quite an honor to get an opportunity to throw out their first ball because both organizations are great organizations. And, I can only just thank the good Lord and thank the organization for giving me the opportunity to play.
Yeah, you think back to the years that you played with the Phillies in the mid-'70s, and certainly nowadays you look at this organization, one of the tops in baseball. It certainly is impressive, is it not?
It definitely is. They got some outstanding players. They're looking to win a total championship again. If they can stay healthy, they're going to definitely be in contention. There's no doubt about that. They've built a first-class pitching staff, and their hitting's coming along. If they get Howard back, they're going to be a force to reckon with.
Ty Wigginton doing his best Dave Cash impersonation there, getting the early out here in the fourth inning. Let me ask you about the starting second baseman on this team, Chase Utley. We haven't seen him yet this season, but we expect to pretty soon. But, man, over the years, he sure has been fun to watch.
He's been outstanding for the Phillies. And, most valuable player. He's just done it all. Played outstanding second base, got some tremendous clutch hits, and he comes to play. And that's the main thing. You want a guy out there that comes to play every day, day in and day out.
Much like yourself. Dave Cash, good to see you.
Thanks, Greg.
All right. Tom, back upstairs.
Yeah, Greg, you're right about that play by Ty Wigginton. It was outstanding. It was the same way Dave Cash used to roam the carpet at Veterans Stadium. Casey McGee is the hitter with 1 out. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike to McGee. Here it is.
He's moving pretty good over there, Wigginton. This is a tough play. Fast runner comes in, uses that glove there, and, well, on both ends. That's a great play.
2-1 the count now to McGee.
Just like the agility, though, of Wigginton coming in there. He's a pretty big guy coming in and making a play like that at second.
Well, we've seen him play first, third, and now second, and they say that's his best position.
Well, they're going to need him if Chase isn't ready to go, and hopefully he will be. Really taking it slow with him, but he's hard to kind of really hold the reins back on.
Well, Chase took batting practice again today. He ran again today, which is a good sign. And Charlie was even asked yesterday whether, what the timetable is, and he kind of said, we don't know. We're kind of feeling our way as we go.
Yeah, it's that lateral movement, however.
Fly ball, shallow right field. Pence froze for a second, but he's got time to come under it.
Now, once Chase is able to go lateral, he'll be just fine, though, and that's when it hurts. I would have to think once that quick stop you're stopping or trying to accelerate, that's when you have the problems.
Well, 2 outs, and this has been a heck of an outing for Cole Hamels. Probably his last inning. Dave Bush has been loosening up in the bullpen for the Phillies. Rod Barajas is the hitter. He grounded a shortstop his first time up. Phillies scored their run at the bottom of the second. And if this was a regular season game, we would say that Cole Hamels' stuff today can keep a 1-0 lead.
Oh boy, that changeup has been devastating. Getting the off-speed pitches over, it's key. There's one right there. Always key. The earlier they get them over, the more confident they do feel with that pitch. And Cole's talked about it before. He can just about throw that changeup in his sleep.
Try to sneak a fastball on the inner half. That might have been a cutter. But either way, try to sneak it on the inner half against Barajas, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, that's been a big pitch for him, coming up with that cutter in on the right-handed batters.
Liner to left field. Nix won't get it. It'll drop in front of him and to his right. So Barajas is aboard. Third hit of the day for the Pirates.
First baseman, Matt Hay.
It was actually a pretty good pitch there that he actually threw. That ball in on his hands, though. Barajas looking in and pulling those hands in and fighting that ball off for a base hit.
Matt Haig, the hitter for the second time. He struck out his first time up. 27 home runs his last 2 years in the Pirates farm system. A home run already this spring and 3 runs batted in. Oh, it sounded like it was off the end of the bat, and it's the second straight hit for the Pirates.
Yeah, hit a pretty good pitch going down, kind of digging it out, if you will.
Well, the first time today Pittsburgh has a couple base runners. Hamels has allowed 4 hits through the first 3 2/3. And Nate McLeod to fly to Victorino his first time up. 0 for 1.
Nate could just never get going in Atlanta. Much better player than what he showed.
Well, if he throws it in his sleep, I'm not sure if he's going to throw it better than that.
Well, I like the movement that he's getting. That's what makes it so difficult for hitters to be able to hit that pitch. Good motion on that pitch.
Comes back with a fastball and he misses in 2-1.
He has the same motion on the fastball as he would on the changeup. And when you do that, that's what makes it difficult. That arm motion to be able to pick the ball up. No, these guys, too, Tom, are in such good shape. You really have to hold them back. They probably want to go out and pitch 5-6 innings. And I think that's the biggest difference between today's players and yesterday's, is that they come in great shape nowadays.
Well, he's going to get out of this inning if Wigginton can handle this one. He boots it. So the bases are now loaded. Boy, he makes that great play to start the inning, and that one seemed like it was right where he wanted it to be. So it's going to be an E4. Now, the bases are loaded, and that's going to be it for Cole Hamels. So we went over 50 pitches this afternoon.
Oh, these are the plays now. Wigginton is going to have to make the routine play. You know, that spectacular play at times, that's just a given. That routine play, that's the one pitchers want you to be able to make.
So Hamels gets a visit from Rich Doobie. It looks like Dave Bush is going to come in to finish up this 4th and pick up from there. Bases loaded, 2 outs, top of the 4th inning. Cole Hamels' afternoon is complete. He was pretty sharp this afternoon. Well, the pregame party areas for groups of 20 or more are perfect for entertaining family, friends, or business associates. A variety of party areas to choose from at Citizens Bank Park. For more information, call 215-463-5000 and ask about pregame parties at the ballpark. Dave Bush in his second outing here in spring training. He'll come in with the bases loaded and 2 outs with the Phillies on top 1-0. And he'll face Gorkys Hernandez. Last year with the Rangers, Dave Bush pitched in the bullpen. Also made a starter too. And it's no balls and 1 strike. Hernandez popped out to first his initial time up in the 3rd.
Won't be trying to bunt now. He's trying to pick him out a pitch. Again, that breaking ball early on in spring training causes the hitters a lot of havoc. They're just not ready to see that particular pitch. Not unless you hang it, of course.
Then what will they do?
Well, they're going to bang it.
I think you bring up a good point, because all of their work prior to this, if they're hitting in the offseason, they probably didn't have guys throw consistent curveballs. They've been throwing 50, 55-mile-an-hour fastballs.
And you're mostly working to get your hands tough, get the calluses on your hand, and get ready for that long season.
A little high with a fastball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hernandez last year in AAA hit .283. He had 9 triples to go along with 21 stolen bases. He has stolen as many as 54 in his minor league career.
And there's that 2-2 breaking ball when you really want guys to be able to make it happen 2-2. As you see Cole's numbers there, still sitting on the bench. Well, he pitched extremely well.
Runners go. Ball was hit softly to shortstop. Rollins will go all the way to first in time to get Hernandez. And Dave Bush comes in and he leaves the bases loaded here in the top of the 4th. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Thomas Jefferson University Hospital. Call 1-800-JEFF-NOW for an appointment. What we've seen so far here at Bright House Field, we saw a very good outing by Cole Hamels. He might have gotten a little tired toward the end, but he was very effective in 3 2/3 innings. James McDonald's afternoon is finished after 3, and he'll turn things over to Justin Wilson, who last year in AAA, 10 wins, a 4.13 earned run average. He also fooled around in the bullpen. He picked up 3 saves. He made 21 starts overall. And that's the only change for the Pirates as we begin the bottom of the 4th. He'll face Shane Victorino, Jim Thome, and Hunter Pence here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Cole Hamels went into the clubhouse just a moment ago, and you know, Sarge, you and I were talking in between breaks about how competitive these guys are. I mean, he wanted to finish that inning.
Yeah, he did. He wanted to finish. Most important thing, though, is just building up that arm strength there. That's why they're very careful on all the pitchers, not just Cole, and just making sure he gets his work in. He feels good. I thought he had a great outing.
I thought his changeup for the second straight outing looked really good.
Well, that's the bread and butter, that changeup that he throws. And when he throws it in the good one, it's moving away from that hitter. Very difficult to hit.
Yeah, he'll throw it in different spots in the strike zone. And we saw some of those spots really right down the middle of the plate, and it was good.
Well, you know what? It is good, though. And then it just sets up that fastball that he actually throws. And you're good hitters to throw or swing out of the zone just like that one there. And that one there, and you're right, starting that ball in a very, very good spot.
Shane Victorino shattered his bat. He's retired by Casey McGee. So Victorino's 0 for 2. So Wilson gets the first out in this 1-0 ball game. Phillies scored their run on a double by Ty Wigginton back in the second. Here's Jim Thome. 0 for 1, fly to left his first time up.
Oh, Shane getting quite a few at bats in that third spot. Charlie's had him there for a few games.
Do you like him as a number 3 hitter potentially?
Well, the number 3 hitter, you got to really count on to make sure that they're on base most of the time there. You know, and that is a pressure type of position. You'd like him to be able to hit with power. Utley obviously is the ideal third hitter because of his eye. He does hit with power, and he hits for an average.
0-2 pitch to Thome. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, depending on who's hitting in the fourth position, you may not want Victorino to run as much because you want that fourth hitter, especially if it's Thome, to swing the bat.
I think until Ryan Howard comes back, there's a good bet that when Thome's in the lineup, he'll bat cleanup. When he's not, Hunter Pence could bat cleanup. That ball's lined to center field. And Thome has his 3rd hit of the spring.
Well, he stayed right on that pitch. Slow feet, quick hands. That's what will happen when you have slow feet. Watch his feet there. See how slow his feet? Extension as he goes out, just drives the ball right up the middle. That's good hitting right there.
Pence single to left his first time up.
Pardon me there, Tom. It really does look simple when you do it right.
You're saying it's not really that simple?
Oh, boy, I'm telling you.
Well, Pence pops out to the shortstop, Josh Harrison. So 2 outs, and Ty Wigginton will be the batter.
A very aggressive hitter, though, Pence. That's why a lot of times pitchers now don't want to throw him a strike first pitch because he's looking for it. Usually pulls the trigger like he did.
Wigginton's double his first time up went over the head of the center fielder Nate McLeod. He brought home Hunter Pence with the game's only run.
Boy, he actually smoked this ball in the second inning. It's out short and quick again, and that ball actually fooled McLeod out there. By then, no chance to get Pence as he's coming into your pitcher. Well, you can tell, too, when they're hit good, that sound you hear all over the ballpark.
It's the kind of sound that if you're walking with your back to the field, you immediately turn around just to see where the ball's going to go.
Right, hoping that it is in the gap, or if that ball's up, good chance to get it out of the ballpark.
Well, the Phillies are hoping for some of those numbers you just saw from Wigginton. Ball 4, and Phillies have runners on first and second here in the 4th. And then John Mayberry will get a chance to cash in.
Well, Wigginton's going to be big as you take a look at Charlie Manning, manager. To his left, Greg Gross, hitting coach, as he's charting. Everybody does charting these days. Different counts, pitches that you swing at, pitches that were in the zone. And Greg will go over those with a particular hitter, show him mistakes, show him where maybe he should be a little more aggressive.
Did you chart when you were hitting coach?
Sure, I charted a lot. Unfortunately, there early on in Milwaukee, the only thing you were charting was a bunch of Ks.
Only as good as your players, Sarge.
Well, you want to be a good hitting coach, have good hitters.
Want to know the count to John Mayberry. Mayberry lined out to left his first time up. Ty Wigginton floated off the second base bag and was doubled up. 2-0 the count. Boy, Mayberry should get a fastball right here.
Yeah, well, he's thrown a lot of balls. Wigginton actually worked the count.
Ray Searage, the pitching coach, is going to trot out to the mound.
And what he'll tell him is that he will want him probably to throw that ball on the outside part of the plate, wherever he feels comfortable with.
Cliff Floyd used to say that any time a pitching coach or a manager went out to talk to a pitcher, he knew that the next pitch he was going to get was a fastball. I mean, did you think that as a player?
Absolutely. And a lot of times you look at the different pitching coaches that go out there. I know Larry Rothschild for the New York Yankees, when he goes out there, he wants the pitcher to throw pitch on the outside part of the plate. That's where he's going. There's some pitching coaches that want that ball on the inside part of the play, but more so where that pitcher feels comfortable to throw that pitch.
2-0 the count. Well, he got a changeup.
High changeup. And that's where that 2-0 comes in, Tom, where you want to be disciplined. You know he's not looking for that particular pitch, so you got to be smart enough to take that pitch and get the pitch that you want.
He got a fastball and he popped it foul, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1-0 Phillies, 2 runners on, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 4th. It's a much different game than yesterday.
Oh boy.
A little cleaner game today.
And one of the things too, though, Charlie's concerned about are the errors. He doesn't like a lot of errors on his team. And again, pitchers got to pitch more to different hitters. Pitch count gets up.
We saw that today with Ty Wigginton's error that extended the outing for Hamels, or really ended the outing for Hamels.
Yeah. Where that looms big after that, if somebody comes up with a base hit, usually that's 2 runs, and the gap 3 runs.
3-2, 2 outs. The runners will be off. There they go. And a breaking ball just missed. Pretty confident kid to throw a 3-2 breaking pitch.
Well, Gross will be happy about that, laying off of that pitch. It's always a little more difficult, 3-2.
I wonder if Rod Barajas, who called the pitch, said, you know what, let's see if he goes fishing after it, because there's a left-hander up, and it's a lefty that didn't have great numbers last year against left-handed pitching.
Well, there's a good point.
Lance Nix, the hitter, he struck out his first time up, and he's ahead 1-0.
You know, there's the difference in, say, for instance, having a Mike Schmidt or those kind of hitters coming behind you. You'd be guaranteed to get yourself a fastball.
2-0.
He's been struggling with that control. Want to zone hit him here. See his numbers against the left-handers, not very good.
Mayberry's over at first. Wigginton's at second. Tomey is at third.
Well, this would almost be an automatic take for me.
And he takes it for a strike. It's 3-1.
And I say that because he's been struggling. You know, and depending on how I felt at the plate, I might make him do it again. That ball appeared to be a little bit high, borderline anyway. But again, that's not a pitch you would want to swing at. So being very disciplined at the plate, that's what they are working on. That's what they want the guys to do.
Swing and a miss, 3-2. So for the second straight batter, Wilson has worked the count full 3-2 with 2 outs. Jim Thome just signaled to Wigginton, let him know it was full with 2 outs.
Well, you'd think he would get another fastball. He's been struggling with that breaking pitch.
Ball 4. And that forces in a run. Phillies have had 3 straight solid at bats. Thome scores. It's 2-0 Phils. And here comes Clint Hurdle. That may be it for Justin Wilson. So give an RBI to Lance Nix. In fact, there will be it because Ray Searage has already come out. This is the second trip to the mound. Brian Talent had been loosening up in the bullpen for the Pirates. So Wilson's afternoon is done. Here comes Talent. The Phillies have a 2-0 lead. There are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. The base is loaded after he finishes that drink. Follow along as Cliff Lee narrates the recap of the 2011 campaign that saw the Phils win their 5th consecutive NL East title and set the single-season franchise record in wins with 102. Order your copy of Making History, the 2011 Phillies video yearbook, by calling 877-GO-PHILS, stopping by the Majestic Clubhouse store, or by going online to Phillies.com. We had to read that promo because Video Dan Stevenson, the Phillies Emmy Award-winning videographer, is in the house today, as Brian Talent is the new pitcher for the Pirates. Talent last year split time between the Blue Jays and the Cardinals, a 9.45 earned run average. He'll begin this year 34 years old. He'll be 35 in September. He'll face Brian Schneider with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And he floats one right in there for a strike. It's 0-1.
If you can get an off-speed pitch over as a left-hander, you can have a job there in the major leagues. Call those guys specialty pitchers, and they usually will face that one batter, which would be a left-hander.
Last year, he was involved in a whopper of a deal between the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. You know, he had played for the Blue Jays at one time, then was with the Cardinals last year to start the year. But he went back to Toronto with P.J. Walters, Colby Rasmus, and Trevor Miller in a deal that sent Edwin Jackson, Octavio Dotel, Mark Zebchinski, and Corey Patterson to the Cardinals. There's a looper to third, caught by McGee. And the side is retired. The Phillies do get one. They leave the bases loaded as we go to the 5th. Get suited up for spring training at the official online shop of the Phillies with the largest selection of authentic spring training gear, including clubhouse caps and t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get set for spring at the official source, thephillies.com shop. For the Bucks, 2-0 Phils. We go to the top of the 5th. Chase Darno will lead it off against Dave Bush on a relief of Cole Hamels. And Darno hits the first pitch to left field, playable for Lance Nix. 1 away. Dave Bush grew up a Phillies fan and went to Conestoga High School before he went to Wake Forest as a catcher. In fact, he didn't pitch at all the first couple of years at Wake Forest, but then all of a sudden turned himself into being a pretty good pitcher.
Well, that would tell you then he probably could not hit, had a good arm, and then started pitching. That's what's good about the game, though. If you have a good arm, they can find a spot for you. If you can end up throwing strikes, don't necessarily have to be that guy that hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
This is Brandon Boggs, who's pinch hitting for Brian Towlett. 2 balls and no strikes the count. Jared Hughes is up and throwing in the bullpen for Pittsburgh. Two and one the count.
Just amazing how many losing seasons the Pittsburgh Pirates have had. I mean, that's almost rebuilding every single year.
Well, they really thought last year they had it. Good breaking pitch. Boggs down looking.
Little slide piece coming in there. That nice break to it. Well, you're right. They were playing so good during the season.
Well, they were 46 and 42 at the All-Star break. Through 100 games, they were over 500, and then there you go. 72 and 90. 19 straight losing seasons.
Wow. They lost that extra inning game, if you will, there to the Atlanta Braves, and then after that, they just almost couldn't win a game.
Well, before that 93 season, they were under Jim Leyland with Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla, Doug Drabeck was their ace. You know, they were putting together some pretty good years.
Well, they had some good young players that came up, and Bonilla along with Bonds that really knew how to hit.
0-2 pitch to Presley. Lifted in the air to center field. Shane Victorino is there battling the sun, and he makes the catch. Doing it with style. 1, 2, 3 go the Pirates here at the top of the 5th. Nice job by Dave Bush to take us to the bottom of the 5th. Every time the Phillies retire, the opposing team 1, 2, 3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity HD Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, lightning fast internet, and home phone. Brandon Boggs stays in the ballgame to play left field for the Pirates. He just pinch hit. And the new pitcher for Pittsburgh is right-hander Jared Hughes. Hughes last year pitched at 3 different levels, AA, AAA, and with the Pirates. He pitched in 12 games for Pittsburgh. See his numbers in AA and AAA a year ago, 6-5 at 3.28 earned run average. See that a lot, Sarge. 48 games, 11 starts. I mean, some guys, they'll start on one level, relieve on another level.
Yeah, well, it's decent. And a lot of times the choice on that is guys do have good arms. We talked about it before, guys relieving and then also starting, and just depending on that organization.
Well, this may be the final at bat of the day for Jimmy Rollins. He tried to bunt his first time up and was retired. Grounded out his last time up on a good play by Matt Haig at first. And now he's behind, no balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, if they're going to be bunting, you want them to really go for that do or die. That ball is smoked.
But Hernandez is there. 1 out here in the 5th.
And do or die, I'm talking about make sure that you're going toward that line there where it's almost going to land right there. If it isn't, it's foul, and if not, you're able to beat it. You're able to beat it out.
Charlie Manuel's about to adjust his lineup. He's got his lineup card out. Jimmy playing a little high-five game with some youngster near the Phillies dugout. Here's Polanco. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. Grounded out in the 3rd.
Polanco, obviously a line drive hitter. That's what Phillies are looking for him to do this year. Doesn't have to be home runs. Those doubles work just fine.
That could be a double right there. Now he'll get held up at first. Hernandez got to it quickly. So 3rd hit of the spring for Polanco.
That's what you want to see him do, to be able to stay in there on the right-handed pitchers there. And the only way you can do that and hit the ball down the line, you got to have good mechanics. That's exactly what he had on that particular AB.
Victorino 0 for 2 today, 2 for 12 this spring.
Not a lot to show for it. Only 2 hits, but veteran players are just going on how they feel, getting themselves mentally ready. Try and play 162 games, some of them. Nowadays, guys aren't playing as many games, meaning if they can get in maybe 150 games or so, maybe a little more, they get their days off and they can stay a lot more fresher that way.
Tried to hold up, it went around, and it's 1 ball on 2 strikes. Kid throws pretty good.
Another one of those slingers. Just thought it'd be hard to control the ball when you're just slinging it the way that he does. But as a hitter, it's uncomfortable to hit when you see the arm that is whipping through like that. Almost hoping that he throws the ball outside where you can see it a little bit better. Inside there has a lot of sink to it.
See if Polanco goes here. 3-2, 1 out. He takes off. Victorino stays alive. He got a piece of it.
Marco must be feeling pretty good then if he's taking off. He doesn't usually run as much. Had a lot of injuries last year, a lot of nagging type injuries. It just didn't allow him to go out and do the things he needed to. Legs were hurting, growing.
He goes again. Victorino fouls it off again.
Also had that little stomach problem where he wasn't able to swing like he normally does.
That foul ball's going to hurt the foot of Victorino.
Teach you to lay off those hard sinkers inside.
Did that do it?
Oh boy, they would hurt so bad.
You'd still swing at it though, wouldn't you?
Oh man, guys like Greg Maddux would actually try and throw the ball right back in the same spot to see if you would swing again.
There he goes again. That one's in the air to right field. That's pretty deep. Going back is Hernandez. He's not going to get it. That's a 2-run home run for Victorino. And the Phillies are now on top 4-0.
Wow, that's going to make him feel a lot better in that third spot. Little 2-run home run. Fastball that he picked on out over the plate. Sure, that's going to make that foot feel a lot better, Tom. Check this swing out as the ball comes in. See how that ball there started on the inside, then it floated right back there to the happy zone. He knows exactly what to do with it.
Well, for Victorino, it's his first home run of the spring. Here's Tomey. Little dribbler to the right of the mound. And there are 2 outs. Shane was limping pretty good as he went back toward the dugout. Last year he had a quadruple double, which included 17 home runs. Still kind of grimacing.
Yeah.
Mentioned earlier that the Phillies are down 1 outfielder right now because Dominic Brown hurt his right thumb on that diving attempt the other day. An MRI here in Florida today, and they'll hopefully have an update on that thumb sometime in the next 24 hours. They don't think it's anything that serious, but he's definitely sore.
Well, it's serious because he needs to be able to play these games so that they can
see
whether or not he can make this club. Well, they're not going to just put him on just to put him on. He's going to have to prove it. Well, if you got a sore thumb or fingers and you're trying to grab that bat, I tell you what, it's going to be difficult to get it around. Let's just hope it isn't as bad.
1-2 the count to Hunter Pence.
It's a lot of valuable time that you lose because now you're playing catch up. You know, pitchers are starting to get much more in advance. You haven't seen them, so it's like a little catch up that you got to try and do to get where you can hit those breaking balls and off-speed pitches. I think he's going to have to change on the way that some of the balls that he's diving at, where it almost looks like he twists his whole wrist underneath his body.
That one's towards center field. A base hit for Pence. It's his second hit of the day. Phillies had a shutout the other day in Dunedin. They're shutting out the Pirates here this afternoon. Kind of a nice turnaround compared to yesterday's ball game.
Oh, yeah. And Pence just muscling that ball in the center field. That's how strong he is.
Now Wigginton, who's been on base twice today. Ooh, that one got away. I think Rod Barajas may have hurt himself on that grab and trying to reach for that ball, because he didn't even go after the ball behind the plate. And Pence goes up to second.
Here's where I was talking about the way he slings the ball. It's just so difficult. You just don't almost know where it's going. He lets go of this ball. Look at that. Almost appeared like it went behind him as that ball comes up near your head there, and it did. And that ball starts in that position. It's just nowhere to go as a hitter. I mean, that ball just follows you as if it's a torpedo, and you're just hoping that it doesn't hit you anywhere.
Wigginton just asked Barajas if he was okay. I think he reached back for the ball, and I don't know, something seemed to happen to him. 2-0 the count to Wigginton. Runner at second. Swing and a miss. 2-1.
Yeah, that's when you want to tell him, hey, you want to miss like that, miss outside. I mean, up and in there just doesn't make you feel good.
Three and 2 the count.
All he's thrown so far is just sinkers. Haven't seen any type of a breaking ball so far from him.
I thought maybe he was trying to throw a slider to Victorino.
If he did, it slid all right.
Not the home run pitch, but a couple of other pitches. I think Hector Luna was just giving Victorino a hard time. Three and 2 the count. And Wigginton just stays alive.
Got pretty good movement on his pitches. The ball does move, and that location where he's just kind of throwing it in and out.
And there's ball 4, so Wigginton walks for the second time. He's been on base 3 times. And John Mayberry is the hitter. Mayberry just took a casual peek over to see if Clint Hurdle was going to come out, but it's Ray Searage, the pitching coach, who's coming out. Michael Doobie is throwing in the bullpen, Rich Doobie's son. There's Michael.
It's pretty neat how they bring him and gives Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, a chance to look at his son and maybe give him some advice on what he think he's doing wrong after the game or after he pitches. Always a little bit of a nervous time, though, for the dad seeing his son there in that Major League Baseball uniform. Still hasn't gotten used to him just being there. When you talk to him, he'll tell you that he is a little bit nervous under those sunglasses.
Well, Michael Doobie should make a pretty good step this year, probably to AAA, and maybe eventually to the Pirates, to the big club if he's successful. He was part of the Phillies organization at one time. John Mayberry, the hitter, the first pitch to him. That's in there for a strike, and it's 0-1.
Well, the name of the game is consistency. And without a whole lot of superstar type pitchers there for the Pirates, the opportunity to get to the major leagues, well, makes it a little bit easier for you.
I thought that Michael Doobie would move up in the ranks a little quicker because of what you just said.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's with any of those clubs, though. They doesn't have the great pitching. If you can be able to show that you have control again on that off-speed pitch, that's what usually separate major league pitchers from minor league pitchers, being able to command the off-speed pitch.
The 0-2 to Mayberry. Fouled it away. Mayberry this afternoon lined into a double play and walked his last time up. 3 for 12 so far this spring. A little different spring training for John Mayberry, knowing that unless there's a change that we don't know about, then he'll go north with the team right out of the chute.
Well, you're right. A lot more comfortable. As you know, you can relax a little bit more and just go out and let that trade come, where hitting the ball and playing your defense, you know, working on that part of the game. You're not really all that worried about making the club. And the way you played last year, for me, would enable you to make that club, to see what you can do. He's got power. Just needs to become a little bit more smarter as a hitter. He's got a great opportunity, however, to be able to play and play every day.
32nd pitch of the inning for Hughes. And he cracks it to the right side. Haig has it. Hughes covers, and the Phillies are retired. But they get a 2-run home run from the flying Hawaiian, Shane Victorino. He got after this one, and it flew right on out of the ballpark. The Phillies with a 4-0 lead. Tomorrow, Comcast Sportsnet and the Comcast Network have complete coverage of the Atlantic 10 quarterfinals starting at noon. Catch the first 2 games on Comcast Sportsnet. Then at 6:30, switch over to the Comcast Network for games 3 and 4. Get total A10 quarterfinals coverage tomorrow starting at noon, only on Comcast Sportsnet and the Comcast Network. Temple will play in game 1 tomorrow, the noon game. They're the top seed. Phillies on top 4-0 here. Then St. Joseph's will play in game 2 against St. Bonaventure. Dave Bush set to begin another inning of relief against Josh Harrison. Harrison takes outside. There are a lot of changes for the Phillies, and we'll get to those changes in just a moment. Two 2-0 the count. You can see the one change right off the bat is Tuffy Ghostwich is behind the plate. He takes over for Brian Schneider. Harrison today is 0 for 2. He's lined out and he's grounded out on what was a good play by Ty Wigginton. Grounder toward the hole. Martinez got to it, but he has no chance to throw Harrison out. So it'll be an infield single for Josh Harrison.
It's pretty smart on Martinez, not picking that ball and then trying to make a spectacular play and then throw that ball away. So he catches it. Now, once he goes down, he knows that he has no shot at all.
Michael Martinez is one of those changes. He takes over at shortstop for Jimmy Rollins. Here's Casey McGee, who's 0 for 2. Casey McGee left Milwaukee because the Brewers signed Aramis Ramirez to a free agent contract, so he was really without a position, and he's in Pittsburgh where he's might be without a position.
Well, you're right about that. I mean, he turned down a 3-year deal when he had a good year there in Milwaukee. Thought maybe he could get a little bit more next year. End up having a bad year, and here he is. That's the chances you take, however, when you're a major league player.
Tried to hold up. He went around. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Would have had some pretty good security. Now you got to play from year to year. And even last year, though, wasn't one of his best years. He put together a pretty fine year. And again, got offered a 3-year deal and decided not to sign.
That was 2 years ago when he had 23 home runs and 104 runs batted in.
Should have talked his agent into letting him take that in retrospect.
Or maybe vice versa.
Well, I think collectively they came up with that answer and not signing.
There goes the runner. Pitch is taken low. Goswich's throw is wide. Freddie Galvis, who's the new second baseman, is able to corral it. And a stolen base for Harrison.
Boy, stole that bag awful easy, and when you do that, look at the jump. You end up stealing that right off of the pitcher. No chance to get him. He's pretty quick.
Freddie Galvis, who's normally a shortstop, getting some time over at second base, trying to show his versatility. On the hands, that may drop. Nick's coming in. It is going to drop. Harrison will score. And McGee has an RBI single. And it's 4-1 Phillies. First run of the day for Pittsburgh. That's the first hit of the spring for Casey McGee. He had been 0 for 7.
See what that stolen base ended up getting. It was that RBI as opposed to just having runners on first and second. Don't think he would have been able to go to third base with the play right in front of Nix in left field.
On the outside corner, 0-1 to Barajas. He is singled. He's also grounded to shortstop. Dave Bush will take a grounder to shortstop right here.
Trying to get that ball down in the zone, though, if he's going to get ground balls.
One ball, 1 strike to count. Well, the ball was down.
Now, Barajas, however, he's one of those hitters likes to hit that fastball, likes that ball up in the zone as opposed to being down. You got to make him swing at that ball down by throwing low strikes. And he prefers that ball up in the zone and preferably fast.
And he got one slow. It was kind of up in the zone at first, and then it dipped down.
Curveball.
Well, you see the new alignment for the Phillies. Nix is the only one who started the ball game. Gillies in center, Martinez at right, and Franzen at first, Galvis at second, Martinez at short, Luna at third, and we told you about Tuffy Goswich behind the plate. Got all those changes, Sarge?
Yep.
Oh boy.
As the wind blows.
That's why I asked you. The liner, fair ball down the left field line. He stayed in there on that breaking pitch. McGee will go to third. He'll be held up there, and Barajas is at second with a double. 3 straight hits now for the Pirates.
almost too slow of a breaking ball. The reason Barajas was able to adjust on that ball. Let's see how high this is in the zone. See how slow that is? And it just kind of rolls as it hangs right out over the plate. And he's up to the task as he yanks that ball right down the line, and it hugs all the way.
Well, there's Brock Holt, who will come on the pitch run for Rod Barajas. It's always exciting for the minor leaguers who have been invited to, come and play at the big field to get into the ball game. But they do kind of stand out. The double flapped helmets, the number on the back without the name. There's a ground at a shortstop. A run is going to score. Martinez, though, is able to throw out Haig for the first out of the inning, and it's 4-2 as McGee crosses the plate.
Well, you're right, though. When you come from the minor leagues, just the call in itself will make you get on the line and call all the relatives and let them know that you're going to be with the major league team.
That's right. Part of the Buccos. Here's Nate McLouth. He's 0 for 2. McLouth fly to center. He reached on an error by Wigginton his last time up. Day started with Cole Hamels. Looked very good through 3 2/3. Allowed 4 hits. Picked up a couple strikeouts. Had a really good changeup today. Dave Bush picked up for him there. And he's trying to get through the 6th. 1 ball, 1 strike to count.
Well, they're going to have to score some runs for these pitchers this year. And you just don't want to waste the pitching that you have. He's put together such a great pitching staff. I mean, you got to be able to score runs. You have to be able to play defense. That's how you judge your pitching. Pitch.
Nice grade, nice grade.
You would think, though, on a given day, 4 runs would be enough, but not every game.
No, not every game. And, a little different offense than in the past, where you could look forward to them to pop 1 or 2 late in the ball game. Most of their runs now are coming from doubles or getting the guy over.
That's all smoked right up the middle by McLouth. Here comes Gillies. Watch his arm. He holds the runner at third. He's fortunate, though, McLouth had advanced to second. So Holt is held up at third. Tyson Gillies got to that ball fast. So now 1st and 3rd with 1 out.
Yeah, that's the only reason I think that he didn't go. He got a pretty good toss there. Could have been down a little bit more, but boy, that's all the way. What an arm.
Well, Montañez, who's in right, has a cannon. And we always knew from reports that Gillies could throw. Boy, I tell you, the release, though, was pretty fast.
Well, he got in there and he had great mechanics coming in right over the top. I mean, he gets the runner at home if he goes.
Here's Hernandez with runners on 1st and 3rd. He's 0 for 2 today. No balls and 1 strike. Hernandez started in the Tigers organization, then went to the Braves, and then found his way with the Pirates.
It's all about trying to get an opportunity. Once you get your opportunity, however, you got to show something that would make you be able to stay in that lineup, stay on that team.
Runner goes from first, and the pitch fouled down the right field line, and it's 0-2. So McLouth goes back to first. Mentioned McLouth is trying to make this club. Andrew McCutchen is going to be the center fielder, and will be for the long term. 6 years, $51.5 million. it's the kind of contract that I think McLeod wanted when he was originally with the Pirates.
Right. Well, another small market, but different players, to say the least.
Runner doesn't go, and the pitch lifted to right center field. Gillies battling the sun. Montañez makes the catch. The runner tags from third, and he'll score. And this is a one-run ball game. We saw a near collision yesterday between Scott Posednik and Montañez.
Well, that's what happens when fielders aren't used to each other and playing out there. A lot of times you got to use hand signs, but you got to keep your eye on the ball. You see how high that sky is there. I got it, but right in front of him. Montañez comes in to make that play. Don't know if Gillies would have actually caught that ball as he was kind of going away from it.
He was having trouble with it. Yeah. Chase d'Arnaud 1 for 2, singled in the third, fly to left in the fifth. 4-3 Phillies. Pirates now have out-hit the Phillies. And time is called.
It looks like if McLeod gets a jump, he's going to be going. They've been reading Bush pretty good on the mound and doing just that. That's the reason why he was holding the ball. That sign comes from the dugout. Just hold the ball. A quick pitch.
Sure was. McLeod goes. Pitch is taken for a strike. The throw to second in time to get McLeod. I thought that throw may have sailed on Tuffy go switch, but he got a great release to now make Nate McLeod. The Pirates score 3 within 1. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast, the official HD triple play provider of the Phillies. Phillies up by 1, 4-3. Greg Murphy's downstairs with John Mabray. Greg, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Yeah, with John, and working in getting used to his spring training. I was wondering if it's any different, in a different kind of situation for you. Probably knowing that you've got a spot on this team sewed up. Do you approach it any different?
No, I've approached it the same way. I, trying to come in here, work hard, make sure I'm in the best possible shape that I can be in, and just try to treat this like a regular season game. Just try to do what the situation calls for.
And your situation may be different every day, whether it be outfield or obviously getting a lot of time at first base right now. How does that feel? Are you feeling comfortable over there?
Yeah, I feel comfortable in all 4 spots, really. I've gotten some reps at first base this year, so the more reps I get, the more comfortable I'm going to be, and I'm just looking forward to where Charlie puts me in the lineup every day.
All right, and versatility, always a good thing. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Guys, back upstairs.
Yeah, he's looked very good, Murph, as you know, and not only defensively, but he's had some pretty good swings. He's made 2 plays in particular at first that, I don't even know if a Gold Glove first baseman could make those kind of plays. They're really impressive. One was that over the back to the infield play the other day. Daniel Moscos is the new pitcher for the Pirates. We got a few other changes for Pittsburgh that we'll get to momentarily. Lance Nix is the hitter. And it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Mayberry, I mean, the main thing is to get at bats. And he can play different positions, just makes it easier on Charlie to be able to get other players in and to keep his bat there.
Nick sounded like he broke his bat. So he'll get a new piece of wood.
And all that will be predicated on exactly how he's able to hit, how he's able to handle tough right-handed pitchers.
Nick Evans is the new first baseman for the Pirates. Former Met. Speaking of former Mets, Anderson Hernandez is the new shortstop. Navarro is the third baseman for Pittsburgh. 3 balls, 1 strike to count. Bottom of the 6th. Phillies on top 4-3. Lance Nix is 0 for 1 with a walk, make that 2 walks, so he's aboard to begin the 6th inning. Well, I guess this is the part of the game what Charlie's talked about in the early part of the season, is get an early lead and then start tacking on late in the ball game.
Well, you want to, especially with this club, I mean, every time you end up getting any runner at second base, you want to make sure you get them over, get them in. It's like Mayberry's saying, like, treat it like it is during the season. Game situations, whatever it calls for, this is what you're trying to do. Get used to it.
Tuffy go switch the hitter, and he hits one towards second. That might be 2. Darno to Hernandez, easy 4-6-3 double play. And quickly 2 outs now in the 6th inning. Juan Pierre and Charlie Manuel having a conversation. He actually called Juan Pierre over to chat. He's liked Juan Pierre for a long time.
Yeah. He had a lot of at-bats last year. Still a very durable player. I think that's one of the things they were lacking last year, is being able to put a runner in late in the ball game and try and get a stolen base.
Outside to Martinez, 1 ball and 1 strike. By the way, that is not Rod Barajas behind the plate. That is Tony Sanchez. Pirates hope that he continues to establish himself behind the plate, because he's a former #1 pick. Grounded to third. Nice play by Navarro. Got his feet set. Throws low. Nick Evans can't handle it. And the Phillies have a base runner.
Boy, makes a great stab at that. Ball had top spin on it as he picks the ball. Just didn't get enough on it. Did everything well except for throwing the ball.
Well, they charge an error to Navarro, so E5.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I mean, he did catch the ball. The most difficult thing was the ball being hit and catching it. After he did that, should have been able to throw the runner out with a good throw.
Here's Hector Luna, who's had himself a good start to the spring. Hit a home run yesterday.
Hector played winter ball again this year. The year before, he actually led that league in hitting. So it gives the guys, I think, can let that leg up and come into spring training, because they're able to play, and they play all the time.
Padres also have changed their outfield play. There's Boggs. He came in an inning or so ago. New center fielder is Starlin Marte. And Robbie Grossman is in right field. Oh, 0-2 the count to Hector Luna. That ball nearly had trouble even getting over to first base.
Kind of like Luna as that right-handed hitter. Usually gives you solid at bat at the plate.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we said, he's had a heck of a start to spring training, and the ball's jumping off his bat right now.
Well, he has good mechanics there, as you see. He's short and quick to the ball. And not only that, this guy knows that he can hit. It's just a matter of time, him getting enough at bats. And now, you'll see a guy that can really put that wood on the ball there. There's another one. See how he turned on that ball? Line drive after line drive. And there's another line drive that he ended up hitting right as a shortstop.
So he finishes up the 6 for the Phillies. The Phillies leave 1. We've completed our first 6 here at Bright House, and the Phils on top by 1. Our game summary for this afternoon. The Phillies jumped out to a 4-0 lead through 5. The Pirates scored 3 in the top of the 6th. See that line down below for Cole Hamels? 3 2/3, 4 hits, and 2 strikeouts. Right now, the home run by Shane Victorino is the difference in the ball game. And yes, the Pirates picked it up with runners in scoring position in their half of the 6th inning. So as we go to the 7th, Phillies lead it by 1, and they'll hand things over to Antonio Bastardo. Bastardo, new number in all. Solid year last year, a 2.64 earned run average and 8 saves for the Phillies.
Yeah, he and Michael Stutz did a great job this time last year in spring training, and no idea that those two guys would be able to contribute the way they did. And you know, they hope Antonio can pick it up again this year, pick it up right where he left off. Although at the end of last season, I think he was a little bit tired and he was struggling.
Probably, yeah. Up until that point, though, he was. I mean, some of the numbers he put up were statistically some of the most dominant from a left-handed reliever in baseball history.
Yeah, he didn't even allow base runners, let alone hits. He just did a tremendous job last year. He has a lot of ability, and you know, they expect him to succeed.
I saw some folks walking around with his new jersey, the number 37. A lot of folks had the 58 from last year, but that number now is being worn by Jonathan Papelbon. Chase Darno was up when Nate McLouth was thrown out trying to steal. Finish up the 6th. Darno 1 for 2 today, 2 for 6 this spring. And he tried to bunt and he bunts it foul. This is game number 2 for Bastardo. He had a pretty clean, or did have a clean first out. He is scheduled to be fouled today by David Percy, another left-hander, and Philippe Almont. Pretty good treat for the folks watching back home. Get a chance to see Almont. And Those are his career numbers, first half, second half. And there was the ERA ascended last year from first half to second half, but the ERA was minuscule. Folks asked the other day, where will Bastardo be in the bullpen? He could be anywhere.
Yep.
7th, 8th, close at times. If Papelbon needs a break.
Depends if he can get another left-hander too that he can count on out there.
Right on the hands, and Martinez gets to it quickly. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. And Boggs will hit for the second time. I think there's got to be a comfort level for Bastardo that he knows he'll be in the bullpen this year out of spring training. There's Almont. Scheduled to pitch at some point, either the 8th or the 9th inning.
Starter's a 3-pitch guy: fastball, slider, changeup. More breaking balls to left-handed hitters, more changeups to right-handed hitters. His slider really improved last year, and that's why he was so effective.
As long as Michael Martinez can get this ball, and it's up there, and he does. It's 2 quick outs now for Bastardo here in the 7th.
Get those sunglasses out there, but they're on his hat.
Well, they look good on his hat. Really.
Yeah. Never can understand that.
Well, I guess he can see without any problem. It's a little darker blue today when you're looking up, so it's not as difficult.
Well, the tougher sun field's towards right field, but still, if you have them, you might as well wear them.
There you go. Hector Luna's got his gargoyles on, flip glasses.
Well, everybody used to wear those baseball sunglasses. Now you don't see them very often.
Navarro's the hitter, and he swings at the first pitch. It's 0-1. It'll be Navarro and then Marte if you happen to be scoring at home. Navarro 5 for 10 so far this spring. Took a little off that, and it's 0-2. See where Goswitch wants that pitch. Let's see if he adheres. He changed it. He tried to go up to just see if Navarro was peeking. And then he went down low. That was a heck of a block. They love pitching to Tuffy Goswitch. Roy Halladay had a lot of great comments about Tuffy the other day in David Murphy's story in the Philadelphia Daily News about Tuffy Goswitch.
They say he continues to improve every year. He had AAA this year, probably.
Yeah, he and Eric Kratz, I would think. 1-2 the count. Fly ball center field. Tyson Gillies, sunglasses on. Settling under it, makes the catch. Nice job again for Antonio Bastardo. It was a 1-2-3 7th. Comcast Sportsnet knows you just want to be a fan. Show it by visiting the CSN shop and picking up all your official sports gear. And get this, all orders over $75 shipped for free. Visit shop.csnphilly.com. Now, Tyson Gillies set to lead things off for the Phillies as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And more on Tyson. Let's bring in Greg Murphy.
Yeah, T-Mac, just a little story to tell you a little bit about the competitiveness of Tyson Gillies. In between virtually every inning, down here in our left field corner where we're stationed out, here he comes down as he pops up the bunt right there for an out. But he comes down virtually at the end of every half inning, and he's stretching against the wall, and he's running sprints here in left field. So finally I asked him, I said, are you getting ready to go into the game? He said, I don't know. I just can't sit still. I can't wait to get into the ball game, so I just got to keep moving and keep waiting for my opportunity. I think that's exactly the kind of player that Philadelphia fans are going to enjoy watching for years to come.
I agree with you on that one, Murph. He does move. I mean, we've talked about that before. I thought you were going to tell us that he was doing that because the hamstring issues he's had over the last few years. But, hey, they're just guys like that. They just can't sit still.
Yeah, that's true. Scott Pasednik seems to be another one of them. I haven't asked Scott about it, but he seems to be down here an awful lot as well. But that's what I thought at first. Maybe he just felt like he needed to stretch constantly to keep everything warm. But no, he's just he's like a caged animal, he said. He said he just can't wait to get out there.
That's great. Well, Pasednik is up now, and I agree with you. He was running earlier. He gets out of the way of that 0-2 pitch from Moskos. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, his legs and his speed to try and drag bunt like that is a great idea. He just didn't execute. He popped it up for the out. But, a guy like that who can drag bunt against a left-handed pitcher who's falling towards third base on his delivery, you get it past him at all. Base hit every time.
Yeah, and you figure Gillies would be on first in the blink of an eye if he was able to do that.
Yeah. Gets a right-hander, a little bit different because his follow-through is going to go into that area where he may be trying to drag it.
Well, the veteran Pasednik down to the count 1-2. And he's down on strikes. He goes down looking. And there are 2 outs.
The right fielder, number 16, Luis Montañez.
And that'll bring Luis Montañez to the plate. That was a pretty good pitch by Moskos. Montañez up for the first time this afternoon. Came out to play right field for Hunter Pence, who finished with a couple hits. He'll be followed by Freddie Galvis, who's on deck.
Yeah, and he's playing second base. Galvis when they put him out there today. That's one of the things they're trying to do is move him around a little bit. He obviously is a shortstop, but see if he can play the other positions.
See from that shot that not too many folks have left this afternoon in this 4-3 ball game. Why not? Beautiful day, soak in the sun. Temperature, according to the scoreboard, is up to 87 degrees. All right, now it just dropped to 86.
Yeah, you could feel that. Now it's 87 again. You can feel the temperature varying as you sit here.
2-2 the count to Montañez.
It is nice.
I'm going to head home tonight, do the first 2 games of the A10 quarterfinals tomorrow. Fran Dunphy's Temple Owls in game 1. Phil Martelli's St. Joe's Hawks in game 2. 4-3 put out. 1-2-3 go the Phils here in the 7th. We move to the 8th. The Phils enjoying a 1-run lead. Phillies baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And by Chevrolet. See your local Chevy dealer. Visit ChevyDealer.com. Now the Fanatic making his way around downtown Clearwater. Is it a Segway or is it a scooter that he's on? Athletic, that Fanatic wheels.
Very athletic.
Wind was blowing that day as he was working his way around the city.
Not going to knock him over.
No. Top of the 8th, Phillies up 4-3. And left-hander David Percy is the new pitcher. Percy last year with the Jays, the A's, and the Tigers. 33 ball games, a 7.23 earned run average. Phillies fans might remember that he was the pitcher that gave up 2 of Jason Ward's 3 home runs several years ago in the Phillies game against the Blue Jays at Citizens Bank Park.
That's right. He was with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yep.
Jason hit one of those home runs off an advertising sign in right center field. Did he have a slam in that game?
He had a slam in that game, yeah. He had a dream game is what he had, Wheels.
He sure did.
The center fielder, number 64, Starling Marte.
So Percy trying to earn a job on this team as a left-hander out of the bullpen for the Phillies. Follows Antonio Bastardo, who threw a clean 7th inning. One of the other lefties out of the pen, Dontrell Willis, who really struggled yesterday, came to find out that he's got some arm soreness, so he won't pitch for a little bit. As Starling Marte is the hitter for the Pirates. Honestly, he just didn't look right yesterday.
When he came off the mound, he was shaking his arm a little bit. He has so many mannerisms. Kind of thought, well, maybe, that's just something that he does once in a while. But obviously, he was having some problems.
1-1 the count to Marte. He's had himself a good spring so far. That one's hit deep to left field. Nick's going back, and that one is gone into the Pirates bullpen. I didn't know if it had enough to get over the fence or not. And we're all tied up at 4 apiece.
Yeah, well, the wind's blowing out to left field, so he got it up in the air. He didn't hit it all that. Hit it pretty well, but you certainly didn't think it was going to be a home run to tie the game. But it was down and in too. Way down and in. That's a lot easier to hit. You see where they're set up, comes down and in, barely has to move his arms, just drop the head on it, and got enough to get it out of the ballpark.
Well, here's Tony Sanchez, the former #1 pick for the Pirates back in 2009 out of Boston College, and he takes outside. It's 1-0. Last year in Altoona, he hit .241 with 5 home runs and 44 runs batted in. I guess they signed Rod Barajas in the hopes that Sanchez would be ready at some point this year or next year. On the outside corner, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Ball just got away from Percy. He was trying to get the outside part of the plate. It just sailed on him. Percy now 29 years old. Down the right field line, that'll be out of play. 3-2 the count to Sanchez. David Percy first made it to the major leagues in 2008 with the Blue Jays. Started 12 games. In 2009, he started 9 games and then gradually made the transition to the bullpen in 2010 and then last year. And you see his career numbers in the big leagues. Former first-round selection. And he gets Sanchez on strikes for the first out. So what away Sunday night. See what happens when CSN analyst and former Major League backstop Ben Davis dons the gear one more time and gets mic'd up as he catches for Phil's starter Joe Blanton. Don't miss Phillies Focus, presented by Schuylkill Valley Sports. Sunday at 10:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet. I don't know if you were here the other day when he was doing it, but I didn't know it was Ben. He's still in great shape. You know, he's behind the plate. He's got a camera on top of his helmet. And I'm thinking, what are they doing? Then I thought they were videotaping Joe Blanton, but then
they do it out here on the side field.
They did it on the side field, the half field. Then I figured, all right, well, if they were videotaping Joe, they would have just put a camera behind home plate.
Yeah, you can't picture Mick with a camera on his head.
No. So that's when I knew, Wheels, something was up.
Yeah. You knew there was some show buzz afoot.
Yeah. And then I watched Joe's bullpen, and we've seen him throw here on the big field this spring, but he was throwing really hard in that outing where Ben Davis was catching him.
Well, he had a camera on him.
Right. 1-1 the count to Nick Evans with one out. Evans last in the big leagues with the Mets.
Yeah, this is a time of the year where you have a lot of guys showing up on teams. You go, who did he play for? Oh, yeah, that's right.
To right field, Martinez. Well, he reads the ball very well. 2 outs. Not that that was a particularly hard play, but off a right-hander, you know, the ball kind of slicing away from him, and he was very casual with the way he played it.
No, he has good actions in the outfield. That's the kind of ball for an inexperienced player. Sometimes they get turned around. But as you said, when the bat comes off a right-hander, the bat of a right-handed hitter, the odds are it's going to slice, so it's going to go to your left.
That'll bring Robbie Grossman to the plate. Grossman started in right field, then moved to left field.
You know what a slice is? You know what a slice is, don't you?
I do. It used to spin me around, and now it just makes me shake my head.
You're working on that slice.
To center field, Tyson Gillies. And after the home run, Percy then retires the next 3 batters. However, the Pirates have tied this ball game up with the home run to begin the top of the 8th. So middle of the 8th here in Clearwater, Florida. It's the Pirates 4 and the Phillies 4. Phillies did not play particularly well yesterday against the Houston Astros. They lost that game 10-3. Today they had a 4-0 lead, and now this baby's tied up at 4 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The new pitcher for the Pirates is 24-year-old right-hander Brian Norris, who pitched last year in Double-A. started and relieved. In fact, made 6 starts, picked up 3 saves during the course of the season. He was drafted 2 times, once by the Rays, the other time by the Dodgers. He was a first-round pick by the Dodgers. He was part of the deal that the Dodgers and the Pirates put together. Remember that one big one a few years ago when Manny Ramirez was part of a 3-team trade to the Dodgers? Well, he came over to the Pirates from the Dodgers.
He go to college?
He did not go to college.
They turned it down that much.
Yes, he did. He went to.
Yeah.
You know what college he went to, Wills?
No.
Motlow State Community College.
Where's that?
Tennessee. Freddie Galvis showed bunt and then slapped the pitch foul. It's 1-1.
Did a little Rafael Furcal act there, running up in the box and then slapping at it.
He could probably do that.
Yeah.
Galvis. I mean, nobody can do it like Furcal. He did it in the postseason last year against the Phillies. To the right side. Ball's knocked down. They're not going to get him. No way they're going to get him. Sanchez and the screen back up the throw. Jordy Mercer tried to get his feet set.
Yeah, well, once he bobbles it, then you figured Galvis was going to be safe. And Sanchez, the catcher, did a nice job of backing the play up, too. And they got a break to that ball and bounce into the dugout.
That'll bring Kevin Franzen to the plate. 1 for 12 so far this spring.
Might play a little strategy here.
I was thinking that.
They're not looking for a bunt. Well, here we go.
Yeah, play right into what Charlie Manuel wants the team to do. And you have Nix on deck, so you figure against a right-hander, he'll get a chance to, if they can get Galvis in scoring position. So
hey, you just don't know this time of the year with strategy in games, but this had the potential for it.
Franzen takes 1 ball, no strikes.
That'll open up a base, and a lot of times during the season, then you wonder, okay, if you do bunt here, you open up a base, do they walk the guy, and then who's behind him?
Franzen squares again.
It's also a chance to, they're taking a look at guys like Franzen to see what they can do. And right now, okay, we want you to get a bunt down. Can you do it?
And he does, up the first base line. That'll get Galvis over to second. So the sacrifice successful. 3-4 on the putout.
Yeah, that's something you file away. If he were to be on your ball club and you get in a bunt situation, see Charlie nodding right there. Remember one year, Pedro Feliz. They bunted him in spring training in the game, and darn if he didn't bunt him a few times during the regular season.
That man could bunt.
He had confidence in him because he saw him do it. It's one thing to ask a guy to bunt, it's another to see them execute it, or even have the desire to execute it. There's Mike Schmidt. He could do anything you want him to do, but why would you want him to bunt?
But he wanted to bunt.
Oh, anything. He'd try anything.
What was that story you told me where he wanted to bat left-handed and bunt?
He always wants to bat. He wanted to bat left-handed a lot so he could hit a ball in the hole.
Galvis on second for Nix. And Nix loops one. Oh, caught by Hernandez. Boy, I thought that had a chance to be over his head.
It's a good base run.
Sure was. Galvis went back almost immediately.
Because Nix Wigginton got doubled off second early in this game. This does look like it's a hit off the bat, but the shortstop was in perfect position, makes the play, and Galvis, an infielder himself, that really helps with his base running, I think. But everything you hear about Freddie Galvis is he knows how to play. Well, there's an example of a guy who knows how to play. Don't get doubled off there.
So now it's left up to Tuffy Go-Switch with the runner in scoring position. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. 4-4 ball game.
Kind of neat before the game today. Dave Cash and Dick Allen threw out those first pitches. Mike Schmidt back there behind home plate accepting one of them.
Did you wish Dick Allen a happy 70th birthday?
I saw him outside. We had a nice talk. I said, "You can't be 70, man." He says, "What's that make you?" I said, "Too close to you."
What it makes you is eligible for the senior stroll the bases.
And very much so.
There's Michael, who was going to catch Dave Cash's throw without a glove.
Yeah. Mike Schmidt, they were two of his favorite teammates, Dave Cash and Dick Allen. So that had to be fun for him to see those guys today, just like it was for us.
Tuffy looked like he was swinging for the tiki bar there.
Yeah. There you go.
Dan McDonough with the wristbands on.
There's Dave Cash, also known as AC for always cool.
Look. It's really was going without the glove.
Yeah. That's it. Attaboy.
Always cool.
Always cool, and he was always cool. And he could really hit.
Now Sanchez is going to go out and chat with Brian Rogers.
If there weren't two out, I'd tell that Tom Seaver story about him. Maybe we'll do it next inning.
This game is over, or this man is
well, that's a good story. It really is. It's true, but he'd never start a story with two outs. That's a
come on, Wheels.
It's one of the baseball.
I know you're a rookie.
It's one of those baseball things. Don't start a story with two outs.
Won the count.
Mike Tolan's such an outstanding filmmaker. Here today, following Dick Allen around, and he's doing a project on Dick Allen because Mike was a kid growing up in Philadelphia and loved Allen the way a lot of us did, and fascinated by his talents. And he's a very complex man, but he's a really interesting guy too.
That was a looper over to second base, and Mercer, takes care of Tuffy go switch. So the Phillies leave one in scoring position. On to the ninth. It's a 4-4 game. Well, back here in Clearwater, that's Route 19, which is just beyond the ballpark here in Clearwater, Florida, Bright House Field. It's hard to hit a ball out on that. It's hard to hit a ball out on that field. We've seen a few that you think off the bat could get out there.
That's a long way. And you don't want them out there anyway because you have a wreck. A lot of other different ways out there without a baseball causing one. That highway is just brutal.
Well, the guy who is the first player in the media guide, listed in the media guide, Philippe Almont, the 23-year-old from, well, now from Redmond, Washington, originally from Canada. Last year in the minor leagues, he was 2-5 with an earned run average under 3 at Reading and Lehigh Valley with 7 saves. He was acquired along with Tyson Gillies and J.C. Ramirez from the Seattle Mariners in the deal that sent Cliff Lee to Seattle. And if there's an intriguing guy out of the bullpen this year, there's a couple that are young that we haven't seen that often. I think Jake Diekman is one, and then Almont is the other.
Yeah, they seem to be the guys that are furthest along.
Almont did not have a stellar outing his first time out, but he did hit 96 on the gun consistent. Can't teach that.
No. He just looks like he should throw hard.
At 6'7", 260 pounds. Anderson Hernandez will lead it off against Philippe Almont. Anderson Hernandez at this point in his career has become a journeyman.
He's another one of those guys. You say, oh yeah, where was he last year? He's been in the National League East quite a bit. He's been with the Mets. He's been with Washington.
He's been with the Astros. He's been with the Indians. And now with the Pirates. 3 for 9 so far this spring in 5 games. Tied him up, but it's 0-2. It'll be Hernandez, then Jeff Clement, who's the on deck hitter. And he tied him up again. A slider, and Hernandez is down on strikes. 1 out.
That's a good breaking ball.
Your attention, please. Now
You figure he throws hard, but to a left-handed hitter, you have to have something else. And that baby had some bite to it.
I think that was a curveball, not a slider. Curveball is what Rich Doobie says he throws.
It's a hard breaking ball.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a curveball that, say, a Dave Bush would throw or McDonald earlier today.
I asked Rich Doobie if he was impressed with what Philippe did in the outing against the Yankees, because I know a lot of folks were because of the velocity. As Clement is the hitter. Clement hits it in the air to left field. Nix ventures back. And halfway through the warning track makes the catch. 2 outs. And he said, yeah, he goes, I was impressed with the velocity, but again, it comes down to those secondary pitches.
Yep.
Because they'll wait for the fastball. He said, but Philippe has to, get command of the slider or the breaking ball and the changeup.
That's why that breaking ball was impressive to a left-handed hitter.
And the guy on the right doesn't pull any punches either. He'll let you know.
Oh yeah.
What you need to do and what you are doing.
He'll tell us what to do.
Jordy Mercer, the batter,
and enjoy every moment of it. He's already all over me that we're not going to televise. We're not going to be at that game tomorrow
in Lakeland.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? I said I'm going to play golf. Oh, good. I'm real happy for you.
That wouldn't be a bad game to go to because of the changes the Tigers have made, in particular with the guy over at first base.
Yeah. And Halliday's going to pitch here tomorrow. Should be a good game.
Warm-up action for the Pirates. Mike Crota is throwing in the pen. 0-2 the count to Mercer. That fastball got on him quickly. Here's Galvis, who has it around the bag, throws him out. An impressive 9th inning for Philippe Almont. 1, 2, 3 go the Pirates. The Phillies get an opportunity as we go to the bottom of the 9th. as we go to the bottom of the ninth, there you see the line score. The Phillies jumped out to a 4-0 lead, 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth, and then 2 in the fifth on a 2-run home run by Shane Victorino. But the Pirates climbed back with 3 in the sixth and 1 in the eighth. And now as we head to the bottom of the ninth in a 4-4 ball game, it'll be Mike Crotta, who is the new pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, the 25-year-old, or excuse me, 27-year-old, who last year in 15 games with the big club had a 9.28 earned run average. And he'll try to keep this at a 4-4 ball game. We are going to at least have a 10th inning.
Yeah.
Because Michael Schwimmer is loosening up in the bullpen for the Phillies.
Yeah, Mike, Rich Doobie went over and had a little conversation with Clint Hurdle. And they rarely play more than 10 now in spring training. You know, you just wanted to make sure that they had somebody available. And the Phillies have a pitcher available in Schwimmer.
Yeah, and arms are the big thing. I mean, position players, those guys can just stay out there. But the arms are the thing. The Pirates have brought a couple extra arms. We said Michael Doobie was out there warming up earlier.
Yeah, we were hoping he would get into the game today because it's always fun. He's pitched against the Phillies a couple of times over the years with his dad looking on.
So Crotta will face Michael Martinez, Hector Luna, and Tyson Gillies. Those are the scheduled hitters here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Martinez reached on an error his first time up. Shows bunt, takes inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Michael's numbers this spring, 2 for 10. And he hits one the opposite way. That is a fair ball, and it'll go to the corner. Misplayed by Grossman, but Martinez will hold up at second. It didn't go far enough to allow him to take third. All right, now what do you do? You got Hector Luna, who can hit it.
When he hits it, he pulls it.
Right.
Well, first of all, let's take a look here at Martinez, who lines this double into the left field corner. Ball stayed fair by about, what, 2 feet? Luna's not a guy, whether you want him to bunt or not, I don't know. But like I say, it's so hard to come up with strategy in spring training.
Bottom of the ninth, tied at 4. Winning run at second. Corners are in a little bit for the Pirates. Ooh, Luna did square, and he showed it. Crotta spun towards second.
Yeah, he showed it early.
He was anxious. He was excited.
Yeah, well, he probably doesn't bunt a whole lot either. Because this guy's a bail and whale hitter. He reminds me of a Uribe.
The Dodgers. Oh, he showed it and then he pulled it back.
I just didn't think Charlie would bunt with him, but because he's more likely to smoke one somewhere and end this thing.
Crotta was originally, there you see his last sacrifice. We got everything.
Yeah.
July 31st, 2005.
That may be at any level, too. And that's in the big leagues, but who knows? They just can't picture him bunting or sacrificing.
He tried to go the other way.
He did. And that's not a natural stroke for this guy. Just watching a little bit that we've seen him in the major leagues, but now during spring training, he just wails. And he pulls everything.
That's why he's got a couple home runs.
Right.
Or at least he's got a home run and a bases clearing double.
Right, and ideally, you're trying to win a game. You want him to hit the ball the right side. Now he's in his comfort zone. He's getting 2 strikes. He'll just rip at it. See, bails, like I said, he's a bailer. So that when they throw that breaking ball away to him, he's either going to swing and miss at it or do that.
Martinez goes back to second. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count to Hector Luna. Over toward the hole. Uh-oh, Hernandez, he throws. Ooh, that was a heck of a play by Navarro. He threw a one-hopper to Navarro, and that was not very good base running right there.
Base. You know, just the ball goes through, you walk to third, and then you have a lot of ways to win the game. But when the ball is hit in that area, just stay there. The ball's hit to his right shoulder, and you know, and whether it goes through or not, if it goes through, terrific. You walk over to third, but if the guy makes a play on you, then you're out, and now you got a runner at first.
Well, Navarro made a wonderful play, but that's really not the point.
Right, and especially an infielder, and Martinez is an infielder, should never have that happen to him because he knows what he's trying to do on a play like that.
Well, now Tyson Gillies will hit with a runner at first. Gillies 3 for 9. A ball, 1 strike to count. Kind of a bumpy start to the spring for Michael Martinez.
Yeah, you know, he does a good thing there. He leads off the ninth with the double, but then there's a good guy to talk to him right there. There's an excellent base runner, Juan Pierre. So he's talking to him.
Juan Pierre probably not afraid to talk about it either.
No, and there you go. No, basically, let it go. The ball goes through. Hey, you're at third base. They got to bring everybody in. You're in the 9th inning. Everything about that, you know, is a mistake, and then Martinez knows.
Nick Evans, fair ball. He'll try to go to second, and he just got him. Wow.
As we kid around about that play, that's one of those. No, great play.
I can't believe he tried that play.
Really. You know, he keeps a winning run off second base, but you know, almost set up a situation when you had first and second and only 1 out. Of course, he knows Luna's a slow runner. That's a very aggressive play. Now Gillies could try and steal second. Gillies could try and steal second now. It's a weird inning, isn't it?
Yeah,
even for spring training.
I think what you could take out of it, though, the Pirates have made 2 very good defensive plays.
Yeah.
Gillies has got to be going here, don't you think?
I hope so.
Got a nice lead. There he goes. Oh, he's got that bag stolen.
Yeah.
No chance. Sanchez has a good arm, too.
That's a serious good first step he just had. You know, it's one thing to be able to run. It's another thing to be able to steal bases. You know, he's at full speed in 1 step. That is impressive. That is a guy who really has the potential. If you can get him to be a major league player and get on base or not, he will steal bags.
So now the winning run in scoring position again.
Good chance to score him too. If you know, you get any kind of hit here with his speed, the game's over.
He's taking a look at the outfielders right now as he went back to second.
Well, Sammy Juan Samuel's not putting up a stop sign.
Ball, 1 strike to count to Pasednik.
They'd have been better off retiring Gillies at first, Gillies at first base, and not having that fast a runner at second now. Well, they really do think Pasednik's an opposite field hitter. Huh?
Yeah, they've got the outfield played that way.
Yeah, real shallow. There's no sense of playing deep. Although they're really shallow. You know, if he were to hit even a medium fly ball with 2 outs, you could end the game because they're not going to be able to go back and catch it.
Two and 2 the count to Pasednik. Here you see the outfield alignment.
Really shallow. It's almost like they think it's almost like they're playing that there's no outs or 1 out.
toward the middle, and Hernandez has it. Had a hurry to throw, and he's able to throw out Pasednik. So we've got extra innings here at Bright House Field, 4-4 as we go to the 10th.
The draw of the past is a power.
First extra inning ball game of the spring. We're going to go at least one more inning. That was the announcement that was just made because there are not enough pitchers that are available. Michael Doobie is warming up in the bullpen for the Pirates, so he'll pitch the bottom of the 10th inning. There's Michael Doobie, and Michael Schwimmer will pitch the top of the 10th inning for the Phillies. Schwimmer so far this spring has done pretty well. That's his. Those are his numbers for his career. That was last year. In the Phillies uniform. So we go to the top of the 10th, and from time to time you have extra inning games in spring training like you would in the regular season, but you just won't play as many as last year. Remember we had that long game where Wilson Valdez picked up the win?
Yeah, well, that's one thing about spring training. At one point when I first started the business, you might play 12, 13 innings for some reason. And over the last few years, nobody plays. It seems like nobody plays more than 10.
Well, we'll see if either team can get a run here. For the Phillies, they have a guy who's pitched in the big leagues who's going to get a chance to pitch here, and Michael Doobie will pitch the bottom of the 10th inning. Brendan Boggs leads it off for the Pirates. He shows bunt, bunts it foul.
Great Whitey Herzog story that is a true story. He evidently during an exhibition game one time was in the 12th inning, was meeting with the other team's manager. He said, "You bring one." So what do you mean you bring one? He said, "You bring one." The guy says, "I don't know what you're talking about, Whitey." He says, "You bring one, I'll give up a run so we can get out of here." And when you know Herzog, it sounds like something that he would have said, because they did. They just, if there were pitchers available, they would play a lot of innings.
Remember when that stopped?
That's a great question. I'm going to say 10, 15 years now. It's been a while. I remember Danny Ozark one time. Bo was in the doghouse a little bit, and 12th inning, he's still out there playing. Oh, that was too good. So he's out there taking ground balls at shortstop, between innings, how they roll them around, everything. Somebody from the bullpen, which used to be down the right field line at Jack Russell, rolled a ball at him and hit him in the leg. I'll never forget, he picked it up and he threw it over the left field wall.
Those darn youngins.
Didn't bother Danny Ozark. He just played the whole game.
Two and two the count to Boggs. And a call right through. Well, Boggs has gone down looking twice today. That one may have been a little high.
Yeah.
Third baseman, Michael Navarro.
That's a strike zone you should have right now.
Well, Navarro will hit again. He flied out to center his first time up. 1-1, no strikes. Michael Swimmer last year was called up late in the year. Did not stick around when the Phillies were in the postseason. But he has a chance to work his way into the bullpen this year, whether it be to break camp or at some point during the season. It is the very rare year that you don't dig down and use some of your young pitchers in the minor leagues. Or use any pitcher in the minor leagues. Ball's hit hard off the glove of Luna into left field. So Navarro's aboard. And that's now 10 hits for the Pirates in this game. And here comes Starling Marte.
Starling Marte.
He was looking down at Nick Leyva in the third base coach's box.
Nick's just saying swing.
Yeah.
It's one out. But I appreciate you checking it out.
That's foul down the right field line. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Marte. Look at that, 9 for 12 to start the spring.
That'll open some eyes.
Yeah, I would think so. Tomorrow, as we mentioned, the Phillies will head to Lakeland, where Roy Halladay will pitch. And depending on what Jim Leyland wants to do, it'll be the Phil's first look at Prince Fielder in a Tigers uniform. The ball is hit well to right field, but playable for Montanez. And he makes the catch. 2 outs. Roy Halladay against Max Scherzer tomorrow.
Guy's got a live bat. That ball jumped. The wind's blowing in. You know, 9 out of 12. Don't know if he has power or not, but boy, it sure looked like he had a little bit of pop there, the way that ball went off his bat.
Here's Tony Sanchez.
I remember what Rich Doobie has to watch at the bottom of the 9th inning. His son come in against his team. And it's either, if the Phillies get out of this inning, it's either a tie game or a loss. That's got to be tough.
Tough but exciting.
Oh, sure. When they try to steal a bag here, it's the time to go if a guy can run it all. Big, tall pitcher. Oh, nice blow by Tuffy Goswitch there.
Franz it over at first. Navarro was creeping off just a little too far. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Pretty good breaking pitch right there. It's 1-1. Phillies scored single runs in the 2nd and the 4th, and then 2 more in the 5th. Took a 4-0 lead. Ball off the glove of Tuffy Goswitch. So 2-1 the count.
Didn't sound like it hit the ground either, so it could be a pass ball.
Yeah, I don't know if he was crossed up or not. Look where he is. I think he was crossed up.
Well, he missed his spot by a lot. You know, I think that's what happened as much as anything. But, you know, we can't hear how they scored it, but that really is a pass ball.
So Navarro is in scoring position. Sanchez out front, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That was a good play. Which makes sure Navarro is still at second base. And it's full 3-2. Pretty good piece of pitching right there by Schwimmer. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Michael Doobie will be the new pitcher. Well, last at bats for the Phillies as we go to the bottom of the 10th in a 4-4 ball game. The Phillies can either win this game or it's going to finish in a tie, because both managers have decided that this will be the last inning. Rich Doobie has gotten a chance to see his son Michael before as a visitor. Again, Michael pitched in the Phillies organization, but this is I think this is the 3rd time that Rich has watched Michael pitch in a game, whether it be here or up at Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, one here, and one in Philadelphia.
Right. Okay.
That's what I remember.
Yeah. So this will be the 3rd time overall. He has put his lineup card away, Rich Doobie, because he knows he doesn't have to mark pitches anymore. He'll just mentally mark the pitches that are thrown here by his son, who is 26 years old. Last year was in AA and in AAA.
Rich Doobie down there with Mick Billmeyer beside him, and they were just talking as Michael was warming up.
Luis Montañez will be the leadoff batter, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Obviously, Rich, spending all of his spring training here with the Phillies, has not gotten a chance to see his son pitch at all. It's not too bad to have a dad who's a pitching coach, even if he can give a couple words of advice after an outing is over. 0-2 the count to Montañez. Check swing. They appeal. No swing.
Breaking ball he just threw there, trying to get him to chase the 2 strikes.
Ground ball foul past Juan Samuel. Tough play down the left field line.
Tough to make a play like that. You sit around for 9 innings and then you have a ball hit at you.
2-2 the count. Yeah, the walls in these different ballparks are a little different from place to place.
Used to playing the caroms. They'll come out here early, you know, and work on that.
Down the right field line. Boggs runs out of room. And it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Montanez. 4-4 game here in the bottom of the 10th. Phillies and the Pirates. Pirates are about, I always get this wrong because I drive differently than Wheels.
Yes,
about
you
an
do.
hour and 5 minutes to Bradenton.
Yeah, you know, that's good. I would tell people an hour and 15, you know, to Bradenton. Just, you know, for the time to get out of Clearwater.
Right.
But, you know, you have more speeds that are you would think are more associated with traveling by helicopter.
Yeah, well,
than automobile.
I got more Jersey in me, is what you're saying.
And you got lead
the Garden
foot.
State.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. 3-2 pitch. Grounded toward third. Foul ball. But because the Phillies will play the Pirates in the 2 exhibition games up in Philadelphia, they don't play them as often this year. This is one of I think 4 down here that they'll play the Pirates, and then 2 more up in Philadelphia.
And then 3 to start the season.
Yeah. That ball is hit high in the air, deep to left field. Grossman going back, and he's out of room, and the Phillies win the ball game. Here in the bottom of the 10th inning, Luis Montanez with a solo home run, and he gives the Phillies a 5-4 victory. And that ball carried quite nicely. I didn't know if he got it all.
Well, the wind, it was the same way that they tied the game with a home run. That's the one place where the wind was really helping the ball. And, you know, he got a high fastball. Looks like it's not even a strike. It wasn't. Well out of the strike zone, kind of got on top of it a little bit, got it up into the wind, and see the left fielder out there thought he was going to catch it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, he really did. So Luis Montanez, he's shown a pretty good glove so far. And now he shows the long ball. It doesn't matter what level you are, what part of the season you're in. If you can win a game like that, it's still a very good feeling. So the Phillies win it 5-4. They had a 4-0 lead at one point in this ball game. The Pirates tied it up at 4. And then Montanez was able to win it with a solo home run against Michael Doobie. So 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Phillies. 4 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Pirates. And the Phillies win it in extra innings because of Luis Montanez with his home run against Michael Doobie. And he's standing by with Greg Murphy. Murph?
That's right. He's still breathing hard because just rounded the bases. Hey, nice way to end it, right? You know, make an impact.
Yeah, you never want to play extra innings in spring training, so try to make it as short as possible.
Yeah, I noticed you got a lot of congratulations when you came back into the dugout because, you know, let's get this thing over as soon as we can, right?
Yeah, but it's always, you want to get the win. If you're playing for this long, might as well come out on top.
Yeah, seriously, though, you know, you're a guy that is trying to make an impression and certainly, you know, playing a good right field. We saw your arm yesterday and just how impressive that was. And to end this one with a home run, certainly that's good news for you.
Yeah, a lot of preparation. We're all working hard to get ready for the season. So it's nice to, you know, put a good performance on the field.
And when you come in and you get a high five from a guy like Mike Schmidt, not bad as well, right?
Oh, man, it's great.
Thanks, Luis. Game winner for Luis. We'll send it back upstairs.
All right, Murph. So it's the first game winner of the year for the Phillies. Luis Montanez, a solo home run here in the bottom of the 10th as the Phillies wheels win it 5-4.
Yeah, our WB Mason delivery of the game, Tom, back earlier in the ball game. Phillies had a 2-0 lead, and up came Shane Victorino in the 5th inning with Placido Polanco on base, and he had just fouled a ball off his foot and was hobbling around down there. Stepped back into the batter's box and bam, hits one well out to right field. You see he's still hobbling a little bit as he came towards home plate, but that had given the Phillies a 4-0 lead. Then the tie ball game, then the home run by Luis Montanez to win it. But that is our WB Mason delivery of the game.
So the Phillies win it 5-4. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.